Alright, hello and welcome. So, welcome to today's live on Sunday, the 12th of July at 7 p.m. British Standard Time. Thank you so much for coming to join us. Thank you for, if you're watching the replay, just know that I appreciate you very, very much. I'm very excited to go through today's live with everybody. We're going to be exploring the Pristine Origins Part 2. Now, ironically, it's more like Part 1 because last week we sort of had a bit of a shorter session because I was quite tired. It's been a very, very busy week, as every week is now. You know, the door has opened. We are exploring the restoration of our planet, a return to goodness and decency. David used to frequently call it, and the ascension process. You know, we're looking at what it takes to get us back to that place where we all are free, where we are tapped in and connected to the system of abundance and love and support that is around us, which is the forest garden. It is the forest, very much connected to the Garden of Eden. And so over the weeks we have been exploring that topic deeper and deeper, looking at why civilizations are fell, what it takes to give us civilization stability, and everything along those lines, the whirling rainbow prophecy, etc, etc. So I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you're looking at watching this replay, I appreciate you very much, and welcome everybody. We're live, so thank you all for tuning in on what is a very hot Sunday here in the United Kingdom. I have to admit, you might hear a whirring sound, and I apologise. That's probably going to be on for a bit today because it is very hot. I have also left the windows open, so we might be a little bit burdened by noise, but it's either that or I become a sweet potato cooked in the oven in this room. And I'm sure that won't be the most pleasant thing to witness. So, right, so Mother, welcome, Yelena, Jay Parsons, Deborah, Lenny, absolute pleasure to have you all here. Blah, Bradine, Beverly, as I say, Deborah, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. Gail, Mark, Sally, it's wonderful to have you all back here. Thank you all for coming in. Lydia, Anne, I appreciate all of your patience with me last week. Last week was a very, very... I was tired last week, and I certainly needed a bit of rest. On Monday, I had 2 naps in the sun. On Tuesday, I had 2 naps in the sun, in and amongst working, because, you know, the train is going now, guys. We are on the train, and it ain't stopping because the world is at stake. You know, really very much is that there is a lot that is at stake at the minute. And so we're focused very, very strongly. Exciting news, though. We are almost finished with the 7 pages. So I did my process on those 7 pages. Lucas has literally almost finished his. I'll be going to see our friend Michael on Tuesday so that we can go through everything. We'll print them off. We'll go through them. And then we showed our friend Craig, so he was sat with us here yesterday. Absolute fantastic guy. He is a master forager. From what I've heard, Michelin star chefs have said that the stuff that he has created through wild foraging has been better than any conventional chefing or restaurant activities. I don't know the terminology. You won't have to quote me on that one. But I have been to his Scottish Wild Food Festival event, and I have seen the dishes, and can I just say to you, they are absolutely outstanding. He is an artist with using the things that are found in nature. You know, we're often very heavily influenced to use, you know, maybe 4 or 5, 6 or 7 ingredients in a dish, and Craig in his all of his mastery, you know, can use anywhere from 17, 18 different ingredients. It's just incredible, you know. So it would be incredible for him to be a part of a team. He does have his own stuff going on. He's got you know, fantastic things going on with edible leads. Whoopsie, I always forget to do that. But it was a very productive conversation. We've said to him, you know, it'd be fantastic for him to join the Great Global Garden. He will be, you know, and so over the weeks we'll have a look. I have another very important meeting on Thursday. A gentleman is coming down from Scotland who is very much on the same page. A lovely woman has put us in touch with him, so he's driving down to North Wales to come and have a chat with us and see how things are and where they go. So there's a lot going on, guys. The post I just did has got 4,000 likes in 4 hours. So we're going, guys. It is certainly a lot for a one-man band at the minute, but We're doing it, guys. We're making it happen. So welcome everybody. Please let me know in the comments where you're from. You know, it's always nice, just in case anybody new watches the replay. Let us know where you're from. How has your week been? You know, how has your week been? I am feeling, you know, I'm still keeping up with this workload, so it's a lot, but I'm feeling better than I did last week, that's for sure. So Asana, welcome. I was literally thinking about you, Asana. I was seeing some of the comments from before, and Zorin. Thank you so much, Zorin. That's very, very kind of you. Zorin, as usual, coming early in with a $20 donation. That's extremely kind. Thank you, Zorin. You're very, very generous and have been generous for so many weeks now. Thank you so much for helping to keep me going. I'm hoping that it won't be for much longer. You know, I'm hoping that it needs to. So the financial stability must come forward, because we've got websites to build, we've got email systems to build, we've got to sort out petitions and things like that. So, you know, there needs to be a benefactor that comes forward that gives us the money to just get on with it, because we're doing it. You know, like I say, we've got people who are messaging people online, introducing them to us, you know, and we've only just been getting going, so it's working. You know, what we're doing is working. So yeah, Zorin, that's very, very sweet, generous and kind of you. Thank you so much. I'll give you a little love heart on that. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for supporting me. Very kind of you. So yes, guys, we've got a very interesting topic today, the pristine origins. The idea of today's topic is exploring if we were to remove all of the elements of our modern society that block you know, us being able to live on the land, the AI data centers that rip up and destroy the land, industrial agriculture that demolishes and annihilates the land, and the constant abuse of our lands through mining and logging and the poisoning of the oceans, the plastic, all the stuff that we're very aware that is happening, that is really awful stuff. If we are to remove that from our modern society, if we're to get back to these forest garden villages, if we are able to succeed in try moving the mic closer. It's very odd that this happens, Mark. Like, I've checked the audio afterwards, and it's very it is loud on my end. It's very bizarre. Well, pop that up a little bit. Let me just check here as well. I'll just have a little check. Hello, hello, hello. Double checking, testing the audio to see what it sounds like, how loud it is on my end. I might just put it up full volume then. Let's put it up. Huh. Okay, well, hopefully. How loud have I got it on my end? Yeah, let me just check it's coming through the right microphone. 1 second, guys. Appreciate your patience very much. Yeti. Very weird. Okay. Alright, well, I think that's working now. I've turned it up a little bit. I don't think I've... is the back of it changed? No. I can turn the gain up. Does that help at all? Let me know, guys. My headphones are special and air EMF blocking, so you'll always be whispering here. That's really good. I love that. That's really good. It's good to have EMF ones. Very, very, very good. Let me just change it, see if that gain changed anything. Let's go up. Alright, well, hopefully that's... hopefully that'll be good now. So, yes, very excited about tonight's live. So, you know, once we've got these 7 pages sorted and we are out there in the world... Oopsie, I haven't muted that, have I? There we go. Once we are... we've got the 7 pages sorted, once we're going out there, we should get a lot of people come forward. So, like I say, the biggest thing for me is to find an assistant to help with videos. If that can be the case, I can do a lot more YouTube videos and short videos. At the minute, it is absolutely impossible. It's impossible to do it. There is not enough hours in the day. You know, a lot of you will not have had messages from me for a while because, you know, it takes that time. So anyway, guys, let's get into our introduction, shall we? So appreciate thank you, Mark, for letting me know that, by the way. You know, it's good to know that the audio is hopefully coming through good. So we're going to come over to our full monitor and then we'll come across. A real creation. Sorry I didn't reach out. Got a new job. That's absolutely no worries at all. I did see your comment on YouTube. I'm sorry if I haven't responded yet. It's totally fine. You know, it's Like, let's trust the process. I'm hoping soon that I will have the money to just pay for a video editor, you know, a full-time video editor, get that sorted, because there will be somebody who sees what we're doing and they'll know that it takes that amount of time, you know, it takes that amount of time to do this properly. You know, everybody who is a name or a face online has got a team behind them, you know, that's just, it is what it is. So, yes, congratulations, Real Creation. That is actually really good. No, well, hopefully, are you happy with the job? Do you mind sharing what it is? I hope that it's fruitful for you. I hope that it's, you know, it provides you what you need for now. Because again, we want to make you a free person eventually. That means we don't need jobs. That's the end game. So Jay Parsons says, live stream tech difficulties. You are truly David's heir. Yeah, it's kind of, we can't avoid him, can we? And Tree Dog, welcome. Absolute pleasure for you to be here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. And yeah, you see, the other thing with the YouTube videos is as they grow, that's, you know, the live streams will grow as well, which is always nice to have very close-knit live streams, but, you know, without really putting that stuff out there and being very present, you know, people won't find us, you know, and I feel that this stuff we're talking about is very, very important. So a Real Creation says, it's commission-based, no sales yet, but grinding all week. I hear you. I hear you. Well, keep going. You know, the fruits of it do come in time. You know, doing anything yourself, as I'm sure you know, it takes time. You know, it takes time. You have to put the time and effort in. There is no way around it. You know, I am yet to find anything that there's a way around. So, yeah, I agree too. I absolutely agree. Right, so I'm just going to post out the... just going to change that as well, actually. Let's go there. I'm just going to post out the notifications just in case anybody hasn't heard of it just yet. So let's just pop this across, share that out there. And then up here on our platform, so like I say, guys, just get nice and relaxed. We're just going to post this out there just in case anyone will see it and is wanting to pop on over. It's a good job I remembered that last time because I didn't quite do it. Perfect, there we go. So yeah, very interesting post. There's a post earlier got 4,000 likes in 4 hours. That's I think that's a record actually at this point. Normally don't get that many that quickly, but absolutely crazy. Blah says, I started a new job at the local supermarket, but they are telling everyone that I was a public servant and people keep harassing me, so I quit. Co-workers don't need to ask me where I live or what I can do, FO. I'm assuming you're going to finish off a comment there. Well, I'm sorry that you're enduring that. Yeah, that's not great. But look, you know, we're human beings. We have a right to be able to do and experience the things that are good for us, you know, and that nurture us and who we are and that are exciting. So maybe there's something else out there, you know, that's calling you. So just maybe it's the Great Global Garden. You know, maybe you're here to plant a forest garden. Let's see how it is. So anyway, so today, of course, as usual, David. Appreciate you very much, brother. You know, hopefully in time more people will come along to join us, you know, because I know there are a lot of people out there who absolutely adore David, appreciate him for everything he is and has been, you know, and we're not going to let his memory fade away. You know, we're going to keep what he stood for going. Daphne, welcome. Hello everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing great. Massive hugs to you all. Lovely and amazing people. Keep pushing for being the best version of yourselves. You're all awesome. Absolutely, without a doubt. And how are you? I don't want to share your personal things on online, but I know there's some exciting news for you. So if you feel free to share if you want to. But yeah, I hope you're doing well and I hope everything's going good. Absolutely. So... YV, good evening, James. Back again. Let's go. Absolutely, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Very kind of you. Thank you for being here. We are at much higher energy levels today. So it's very, very good. You know, we're at a much better place. Mark, have you turned up your audio? Can everybody let me know if you're hearing me okay? On my end, the audio seems to be clear enough. I mean, this is a pretty decent microphone. So, Mark, can you try and maybe turn up your device if you haven't already? And anybody else, just let me know if it's quiet. I'll double check again. I mean, sounds great here. I hear you perfectly. I'll just double check. Anybody else, just let me know if it's quiet. I'll double check again. I mean, sounds great here. Let me turn this around. I'll just double check. Anybody else, just let me know if it's quiet. Hello. I'll double check again. I mean, sounds great here. Let me turn. No, that's even quieter. Just double check. I don't know why it would be doing that.
Checking. Hello, hello. I'll double check again. I mean, sounds great here.
Let me
no, that's even quieter.
Double voice. Yeah, sorry, the double voices is because I'm on the other screen. Oh, I don't know. Don't know. Log volume. No idea. Perfect sound. Sounds good. Well, alright. I appreciate you guys. Well, let me just maybe pop it on. Yep, should be on that one. Alright, well, let me know, Mark, if it's on your end or my end. Let me know. Hopefully it's all good. I'll just put the. Oopsie. Press play. Check. On my end, let me know. Hopefully it's all good. I'll just put the. Oopsie. Press play. Hold on a sec. On my end, let me know. Hopefully it's all good. Are we having a? I'll just put the. Yeah, it's gone quiet now. Hold on. Hold on a sec. On my end, let me know. Hopefully it's all good. Are we having a? I'll just put the. Yeah, it's gone quiet now. Hold on. Hold on a sec. On my end, hopefully it's. Are we having a? Yeah, it's gone quiet now. Hold on. Let's come over here. So testing 1 2 3. How is it going? Can you finally hear me all right? Have the double voices gone? No idea. All right. Well, I mean, a few people said that the audio's good, so we'll see how it is. No double voices. All right, guys. No worries. Yeah, the double voices is just because I had it on YouTube on here. So, cool. Well, we'll see if that's all right. You know, look, I certainly need to, otherwise you will try sitting closer. Is that any better? If that's better, just let me know. If this is good, then at least... Yeah, looks like I need some new gear, doesn't it? I think I've been saying that for 2.5 years, but come on then, universe. Provide for me. That's better, Steve. Good. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Mark. You know, if the quality is improved, if the quality is improved, then that's very good. I appreciate you looking out for me, my friend. It's very kind of you. Thank you for doing that. You know, like I say, at some point we'll get the proper gear. You know, this is your Hedgehog sounds fine. Yeah, Sonic over here is doing an all right job. The red surge mic. It's funny. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I should have given a warning, shouldn't I? Taken ASMR to a bit of dangerous level. Right, let's come back over, shall we? So, oh, and Karina, by the way, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. Very kind of you to be here. Love you lots. So, appreciate you very much, David. All the love in the world. Let's get into it. So we're on our 12th live stream today. Isn't that interesting? We're on live stream number 12. So we're really, I mean, we've been going at it, guys. We've been really coming together. Very powerful stuff. Like I say, at some point I'll figure out YouTube. You know, I did that video on the AI data centers. It got like 60 views. You know, it pushed it to nobody. It didn't show it to anyone. And I spent about, I know that the quality required is higher, but it took me about 4 hours and it just went nowhere. So it's you got to be consistent with posting. You got to be talking about stuff that's valuable, you know. Hey Nadine, no worries, that's absolutely fine. Nadine 333, love that. That's very interesting. Thank you for being here, and you know, if you get a chance to come back, it would be a pleasure for you to do so. So yeah, I will get around to the YouTube videos at some point. So last week we were talking about sovereignty. I hope that that image is a decent representation for sovereignty. I feel like it is. It is for me. I mean, you know, my affinity with lions at this point. I don't know, Lydia. YouTube is it's like with everything. Social media demands attention. It demands attention. It demands. Do you know what I could do? I could actually swap this over so I'm more looking here more frequently. Let me just do that. I'll do that in a moment. I'll do it afterwards. Showing my partner the video, she was intrigued, wondering what I've started watching every Sunday. Well, let her know that it is the pursuit of the sovereignty and freedom of everything that is good and decent in the world, and it involves her. So, You know, this is the thing. This is about all of us. You know, it's about all of us coming together to create that world that we know we deserve. You know, this is what we deserve. So, right. So the schedule for today. This is our 12th live stream doing global peace meditations. Tonight we'll be doing 5 meditations every 42 minutes for 3 hours and 33 minutes. The Pristine Origins is a concept which talks about a way of life that is pure on every single level. This is what we're going to explore today. What does it look like when we no longer have to sweat and toil for our subsistence, when fruits and foods are readily available without great effort? What does it look like when your children are brought up in a pure and loving environment, surrounded by the gentle and loving presence of nature? What does the surface of Earth look like and its people? All powerful questions to explore together. Okay? So we will be doing, this is wrong. I didn't actually get a chance to, I've just realised that I forgot to put this part in. So we are going to be doing 2 meditations with David as usual, one in the very beginning, one at the very end. Meditation 2 will be a return to the Pristine Origins because we didn't get a chance to do that last week. Meditation number 4 will be a global peace meditation. So, excuse me, I'm very much looking forward to that. So a return to the Pristine Origins and a global peace meditation. And in the middle, we will do our I am with you prayer with your permission. And so remember, the meditation effect is very, very powerful. It doesn't matter how many people we have on the live. Our intention coming together is a very powerful thing. And of course, as the months and years go on, with the level of consistency, once we start to get ourselves out there, we will have a lot more people joining us, and eventually we will increase that meditation effect. So all of you are founding members. Isn't that a lovely thing to think about? You know, you are all founding members. Many of you have been here since the very beginning. Even if you haven't, the fact that you have returned is extremely powerful and humbling. You know, very humbling. I appreciate you deeply for that. And the impact that we are having on the world is very visceral. Okay, so after every meditation, we'll come forward with something that we're grateful for and perhaps something that came to us, you know. Meditation is a powerful journey and it can really bring forward some interesting stuff. So the question for today, what are the Pristine Origins? Now, for those of you who haven't read the Anastasia books, you might not be familiar with this. For those of you that have, you will realise that this is a familiar term. The Anastasia books, she refers to the idea of the Pristine Origins, a place and time on Earth where the rivers and waters were clear, where you could drink straight from a stream, where you could eat a tremendous amount of fruits that all have the most wonderful, complete and perfect nutritional subsistence, and where life was peaceful and we were all connected with one another. So it's a very amazing concept. We will be going into it today. Breathe Light, hello from Northern California. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to have you here. I appreciate your comments this week. Very, very kind of you. So what are the Pristine Origins? The Pristine Origins is the idea that there is a physical 3D environment which is designed very intelligently to look after us totally, wholly and completely on every level. Okay, so it isn't doing it by halves, it's not a little bit here or there, it's the full package. It's the air you breathe, it's the ground you stand upon, it's the environment you're in, it's what you create with your partner when you bring a child into the world. You know, to conceive, grow and give birth to a child in an environment like this has a very real effect. The environment will recognize you. Okay, so there is a concept that we're going to explore today, which is, I've forgotten the term, so we'll have to get through that in a moment, but it's very, very interesting. It is the idea of the transference of material matter without intimacy. Okay, so many plants will do this, and so it's the idea of the seed under the tongue. Some of you will be aware of that. There isn't any scientific evidence at the minute, which baffled me because I thought there was, but I couldn't find it. Maybe it's been hidden, I don't know, but I really could not find it. It was a bit bizarre because I'm certain there was a scientific paper on it. Anyway, a place where we readily have access to everything that we need at any given moment. Pure, clean air, complete food, a safe, quiet, peaceful environment, a connection to the living earth around you. A relationship with wildlife that is not based around fear or threat, one where we don't need pets because all wildlife freely interacts with us and is seeking to aid us. one where plants, trees, and other species hold a complete nutritional profile for you and your body as standard. So another concept of this is that before the last ice age, many of the trees and plants and animals, or many of the trees and the species of plant, berries, nuts, etc., had a complete profile. So it wasn't just that avocado is rich in vitamin E, it was that avocado was rich in everything. Okay, so everything that we ate had everything that we need, which is an interesting concept. Welcome, Anika. Suzanne, thank you for tuning in, and again, thank you for being here. Absolutely, Gail. This is very interesting ideas. It's an idea that we have animals. Oftentimes people will have pets because they enjoy that interaction with the animal kingdom. We love to, dogs are beautiful creatures, cats are beautiful creatures. To interact with birds is a wonderful experience, and so a lot of people have that. But then what happens, right? We need to have the meat industry that keeps going, because the meat industry feeds the pet industry. If you're a meat eater, that's absolutely fine. I'm not here to make comment on that. I'm just saying that without, millions and millions of animals have to be, in this present moment, have to be raised in order for the meat industry to keep going. So that means that because we have so many predators, dogs and cats, there are millions and millions of dogs and cats, they are predators. So if you were to have the industrial farming system collapse overnight, where's the pet food come from? So it's just that philosophy of the idea of, can we have a relationship with wildlife that satisfies our connection that we have with our pets? Can you have it where a fox is so used to you that it comes to sleep with you when you're having a snooze on a lovely summer's evening? This is the imagery. I have a dog, so my mother is still looking after my dog Flex. So thank you, my mother and father have looked after him for a very, very long time. But I have a beautiful dog that I've been wanting back with me for a very long time, but the universe has had different plans. So because of that, because he needs to eat, he is a part of the industrial system. I mean, he's over 11 years old now, so I got him very, very long time ago, ever since he was a very young puppy. So that's that philosophy. I have this vision where, I'll have such a relationship with a fox that I'll be having a nap under a tree on a summer's evening, and a fox will come out with its cubs and it will lay next to me. Because I'm no threat to it. And there's a beautiful story of the Falklands wolf, that's known as the Wara, and because it didn't know threat, there were no predators on that island, because it didn't know threat, it went up to the people who came over on the boats, and they killed it. It literally, it went up curious, friendly, with a gentle spirit, and they killed it for meat, as usual. Colonists didn't leave much alive, really. They had no interest in leaving much alive. So this animal, in all of its innocence, went up out of curiosity to these people because it wasn't aware of the concept of a threat to its life. And that's a very interesting idea. I think a lot of you will agree it's a very, very curious idea. So if nature, a lot of, I believe it's been a while since I've gone through the Anastasia books, of course, so there's 10 of them, there's a lot of pages, but I believe there's a concept in there about the idea that nature often reflects the nature of mankind, or humanity. So the idea is that as we step into more and more the goodness and decency, the higher vibrational ways of being, and I don't want to unground this, because I am a very grounded man. I like to keep things grounded because I want the lorry driver who doesn't care about spirituality to be able to resonate with what we're talking about. So I am happy to be challenged on things. I think that's very helpful. Yes, she does, Yelena. Anastasia does like to sleep next to a bear, so that was the idea. So the bear in the books, and again, look guys, if the books are complete and utter nonsense, that's fine. The concepts within it anyway are absolutely outstanding. The concepts, the ideas, the philosophies, they are incredible. And why do I say that? Just again to ground it, so that anybody who sees it as that too far out there, there are forest gardens in the world, and they are doing what Anastasia says. They are actually proving what Anastasia talks about. Welcome, Neil. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. Absolute pleasure. Neil says, birds communicate with each other and talk about us, witness how we are in the world. Absolutely. Brizzy. Brizzy says, sorry I'm late, busy day for me. No worries, Brizzy, I know how you feel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Anika says, I love that, the higher way of vibrating in all ways of interacting with each other, animals and nature. Absolutely. You know, like, when we cease to become a threat to nature, you will see an incredible relationships start to develop. That is the unfortunate thing in the minute, is that we are a threat to nature. I say we, I don't mean you literally and specifically, because a lot of us aren't behaving in the way that these massive corporations are behaving. You know, we're not building 830-acre AI data centers that have no nature between it, right? Those 830 acres are absolutely desolated down to brown soil. They have nothing else on them apart from the metal and the wires and the electronics. You know, they are doing absolutely nothing for humanity other than pushing people further into a lack of self-reliance. You know, that's what AI is in a lot of ways. It is relinquishing our ability to be self-reliant. Now, yes, it speeds things up. It helps with the process of things, but a lot of the other stuff, it's a dodgy time we're in. Very dodgy. Let's have a look here, make sure I'm caught up. Asna says, there is so many videos of animals in the wild. When they feel safe, choose to be close to... Absolutely. To be close to a human that has created that safe place, without a doubt. Gail says, I have 3 families of cardinals living in the arborvitae trees. I always whistle back to them. We have some lovely conversations. I love that. Suzanne says, I have 2 cats, Kitty and Charlie, plus bird called Ollie. I love that. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Lucas used to have these, I believe they're budgies. I think they were budgies. They're really gorgeous, really bright blue. They were given to him because somebody had bought them and they didn't want them anymore, so he took care of them. And all their feathers would drop at the bottom of the cage, and so I picked the ones that weren't spoiled. And I've got a little vial over in the corner of all these little budgie feathers. In fact, are they easily accessible? No, they're not. They're all the way over there. Maybe when we do our first meditation, I'll grab them. So, very interesting. Anyway, let's keep going. A relationship with wildlife where vegetables, fruits and berries have a higher living quality. So I have been told a very interesting piece of information with Robert. I don't want to speak about his sort of research as of yet. I'll be meeting him on Thursday, but it was very curious and makes a lot of sense to me. You know, so if you think about it, maybe I'll share it in a moment. We'll do our meditation, then I'll share it. But yes, very interesting information. A living quality where even after... Oh, I'm going to share it now. Okay, then. So this is what Robert had mentioned to me. So a living quality where even after harvesting, a fruit or vegetable still has so much life in it that it lasts for months or even regenerates cells after being cut, like the cutting of a plant. So there's a philosophy that, or apparently they've been able to prove it. I haven't seen this study yet. I've not seen this proven. So I can't say for sure. I'm certainly going to go and meet and we'll explore this, but it makes sense and it links with the Anastasia philosophies. But there's an idea that 3 cucumbers were cut up. One of them was a conventional industrial cucumber. One of them was an organic, in quotes, cucumber. And another one was grown in a forest garden setting where the roots had penetrated the hard pan layer and they were able to pull up all of these nutrients and this life from deep within the soil. And apparently these 3 cucumbers were cut up into sections, wrapped in cellophane, put in a warm kitchen, and the 2 that were conventional and organic died almost immediately, as you can imagine, within about 12 or 15 hours. The one that was grown in a living manner not only survived for 2 weeks, but supposedly, call it nonsense, let's call it nonsense, but I absolutely adore this idea. Supposedly, this other cucumber was restitching itself. So just like a tree will heal, a vegetable plant will heal, you know, it will heal itself back up again. This cucumber did the same thing. So you imagine, if that's true, might be nonsense, if it's true, which I feel it probably is, if it's true, you imagine eating something like that has so much prana, so much life, so much energy, so much vibration in it, that as you're eating, that is going into your living body. You know, just imagine that. I don't know if you guys have heard of Victor Schauberger. I wanted to go into some of his stuff this week. I don't have his book. I can't afford to get it at the minute. But I would like to go through one of Victor Schauberger's book. And Lucas was telling me that apparently one of the forests that was left. It was untouched for many, many years, so no human beings had been there. It hadn't had any disturbance. He was able to notice that in the rivers, at a certain point of time in the day, the rocks would start levitating. Some of you might, I'm sure David's probably covered this as well, but some of these rocks would start levitating, and this is where he apparently got a lot of his ideas for the anti-gravitational technology. So I haven't gone into that yet. I'm certainly looking forward to going into it. It's definitely a topic. I don't know, Jay Parsons. It's hold on a second. I did look to getting up. Victor Schoberger. Books. I believe it might be the Water Wizard one. It might be this one, or it's Nature as a Teacher. So let me just come over here. Close my thingy-my-bobs. 1 sec. So, 2 examples here. First of all, Nature as a Teacher. Oh, here we are. Nature as a Teacher. Secondly, The Water Wizard. So, I have come across these books before. Victor Schoberger, yeah. So, I have come across these books before. I haven't been able to purchase them, but one of these is talking about this anti-gravitational technology, which is just, obviously fascinating. Absolutely fascinating stuff. So, yes. Right, well, we are, of course, at that point of time for our first meditation. So, I'll get back to the comments in just a moment, but welcome, Suzanne. Pleasure for you to be here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very kind of you. I will reply to the comments that have gone by since. So, yeah, all right, guys. Well, if you're ready, are you ready for our first meditation? I'm just going to... So, what I'd like to invite you to do... Just get yourself nice and relaxed. Just allow yourself to get nice and comfortable. I will turn off the fan for just a moment. So as I say, guys, just get nice and relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Okay, so we're going to spend these next couple of minutes. I believe this is more of a shorter one, but this live video is one of David's, and it is called "Is It About to Happen?" So this is the live that we're going to be watching today, and so I will turn off my mic and my camera, and I'll see you in just a minute.
So here we go, folks. Thank you for being here today. Let's now close your eyes, put both feet flat on the floor. You know, if I don't have my funding trip happening by then, I'll be here next Sunday with you. So here we go, folks. Thank you for being here today. Let's now close your eyes, put both feet flat on the floor. So exciting, isn't it? Just breathe and relax. Let yourself feel all of these waves of relaxation coming through. Seeing the perfection of the plan that is now coming into view. The glory of what is coming our way. A true quantum leap of humanity into freedom that we've never had before. Think about the time loop and how some of us will be able to levitate huge blocks of stone and make our own Stonehenges. How exciting is that? The potential that we are facing with this ascension is truly beyond imagination. It all comes from seeking that forgiveness of self and others, learning to go deep within the heart, deep within the mind, and find those marbled corridor passageways, bringing us to the core of who and what we truly are. Hearing the echoing sounds of our footsteps as we walk through these marbled hallways. Learning once again that we have always been protected. These higher beings do exist, keeping us safe, a non-catastrophic, amazing ascension process. We know about the science. We saw the wonderful Wicker Man crop circle, solar flash crop circle with the sun in the middle again showed up today. So amazing that that happened right during the show. We were able to work it right in. Having so much gratitude for what it is that's about to happen, the solar flash dream that I had right after, or right before I saw the Matrix. All of this is connecting in such a beautiful way. It doesn't even seem possible. These goals seem so far out of reach. Will they ever actually do it? Well, all the signs are lining up very nicely. People are now demanding the release of this sequestered information, and we have every reason to believe that, yes, something really big is coming our way. And so we thank you, Archangel Michael. We thank you, Logoic Jesus Christ. We thank you for all that you've done to bring us peace, safety, and security. We surround the Alliance with our prayers, our love, and light. And we always remember that we are the light. We are the love. We are the one infinite creator. And this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And nothing and no one can ever take that from us. And so it is. In the name of Jesus Christ, we do pray. Adonai and Amen. Thank you. Woo! All right, let's get my head back in there. I'm going to have to deal with this fly, but I didn't want to kill the fly on the air. Enjoy your barbecue with guests today. Enjoy sunset. I don't know if I'm going to barbecue, but thank you for that. Yeah, it's...
All right, welcome back, guys. Take your time, no rush. Take your time. I apologise. On my end, there was a little bit of a bitrate issue. I tried to fix it halfway through. Hopefully, it's all good now. So bring yourself back, and please do share in the comments one thing that you're grateful for, one thing that may have come to you during that. Again, it's very interesting. You know, David is saying exactly the same things that we are saying. You know, it's the same thing. So our next one is 1 hour and 26 minutes, so we've got plenty of time. Plenty of time. So, yeah, please feel free. Drop in the comments what came to you. Yeah, apologies for those that little bitrate drop. It's fixed now, so we're back up to about 7,000. Thank goodness. Do you hear what I hear? Oh, whoopsie. Oops. Let me have a look here. You weren't hearing the little seagull, were you? I have my window open, so if you were hearing that bird, it was interesting. The minute that we put the meditation on, I muted my mic and the bird started calling. So I did look out the window to see what it was, but it's gone now. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was a it was a seagull, which is very interesting. It is very interesting. Yeah, I feel that, mother. You know, it's funny because I've. Oh, by the way. Let me just come back over. Let me just share this with you. So, guys, in the spirit of David's wisdom teachings, please give this a shot. So, full mon camera and Yeti. This... Oh, no, where's it gone? Oh, I must have been busy doing things. Let me just bring this over here a second. Bring this over here. Great level guard. Nope. Studies. Perfect. Right, so just bringing this here. So this works, right? Anybody who was wondering about, well, no, what do we do about David's wisdom teachings? How do we get them? This works. I have downloaded up to season 19. So hold on, let's just have a look at this real quick, and then we'll get back into the slides. 4.5 tower. Just here. So, sorry, I tell a lie. I've downloaded up to 17. Okay? So, right here, Season 17, Wisdom Teachings, and you're going to love this, because you'll hear the audio come up. Look at that look. Isn't that nuts? I find that crazy. This is all of David's wisdom teachings, some absolute legend. Some pure legend, some absolute phenomenal individual downloaded all of David's wisdom teachings. So I'm up to 17. I will get through to season 30 because I want to make sure that I've got a copy of them, and that way we keep these forever. You know, like, so you'll see here, it's David's wisdom teachings.
And again, if your house is near power lines, if you...
This is what I used to watch all those years ago. So I would be playing Destiny on this monitor, and I'd be watching David on this monitor, and I watched at least... I mean, what is it, like 160 or so of his episodes, more than that, whatever it was, on Gaia. So I used to watch them all the time. So if you want, definitely go to this site. It's on Karen's Wisdom Teachings Facebook group. Let me know if you want me to share this with you. Drop me a message or something, and I will seek to do my absolute best to get back to you. But it works. You just have to do the torrent thing, and that might not be for everybody. They've done the torrent thing because these are gigs. You know, there's probably about 250 gigs worth of video here. I'm fortunate enough to have a very large hard drive that I've had for a very long time. Yeah, I know my mum will remember. She used to bring me my dinner in every day, bless her, and this would be on. So, I found this incredible. I finally managed to get around to looking into it, and it works. You know, I said that last week, but give it a shot, guys. So, right, comments then. So, go back up. Daphne says, crows are incredibly intelligent. To be honest, most birds are, which makes sense if you look at how long they're around in the world already. I believe we could learn a lot from them, without a doubt. You know, this is the beauty of the Native American teachings. They have such a reverence for all of nature. They see nature as a teacher, and rightfully so. Well, rightfully so. Brissy says, Tree Dog and I have 5 cats, Mushy, Pepper, Sneakers, Nemo, and Spider. I love those names. I absolutely love those names. Sneakers came to us stray and pregnant. My mom gave up Mushy and Pepper, and Nemo and Spider we took in when someone passed. Bless you. Well, it's wonderful that you've been able to be a sanctuary for those animals, because that's the other thing. You know, as human beings, we want companions, and so we get those companions, but we are then responsible for those companions. The whole idea of the relationship with nature is that we are no longer responsible for them. They are responsible for themselves. And if you have millions of forest gardens that has an absolute total and complete ecosystem, they are happy to sort themselves out. And we can just enjoy interacting with them whilst also being free not to be their caretakers, you know, because nature really wants to give to us. So, not to say that, you know, the current situation we have with pets isn't beautiful. You know, it's silly to suggest otherwise. YV says, is it true that if you are going to plant fruit or vegetables to put your saliva in it and then it will grow your exact needs? Now, this is the big question. Now, I actually looked into there was supposed to be a scientific paper on this to prove it. I can't find it. I don't know where it's gone. I was aware of that truth for a very long time, and it's gone. So I have no idea. But there is a modality known as horizontal gene transfer, which we're going to talk about today. So there is a scientific understanding called horizontal gene transfer. It is very similar to the idea of a woman breastfeeding. So a woman breastfeeding has receptors in her breast, which then receive the saliva from the child, and she will create the compounds necessary for the child. This is a well-known fact. So if we are to replicate that philosophy with the natural world, with plants and animals, horizontal gene transfer does exist in the plant kingdom. Why is it so difficult to believe that that could be true? You know? So birds will often grow a berry to have a certain taste to attract a certain bird, or grow a flower with a certain scent or a certain structure to attract a certain insect. Like, there's a process for everything in nature. So if there's a process for everything and we are intrinsically a part of that ecosystem, a lot of people say, oh, get rid of humans, let nature be. No, like, humans and nature have to learn to merge symbiotically with each other, right? We are supposed to be with nature. Just because people have forgotten that beauty doesn't mean that the premise of us being connected with it doesn't still exist. So YV, right now I cannot tell you that it is scientifically proven, but the Anastasia books talk about this, and when we look at the philosophies of horizontal gene transfer, it's not so difficult to imagine that it's possible. And if it isn't possible, you can absolutely guarantee that nature will make it possible, because nature isn't done evolving. Yeah? A lot of science is like, boom, this is how it is, and it's never going to change. Complete nonsense. Life is constantly changing. Why? Because humanity continues to have expanded needs, right? We aren't static. Humanity, in its desire to grow and continue experiencing and to continue creating, nature will do whatever it can to grow and change and evolve to cater for our needs. It happens already. We see it when there's a certain type of fungi that's breaking down plastic or nuclear waste. There was a certain type of bacteria or something along those lines. I need to do research into that. That was breaking down nuclear material. You know, whatever it takes to restore our world to the pristine origins, nature will work with us. And this is actually, interestingly, and we're going to talk about Avatar a little bit, but it's depicted in Avatar, the communicating with Awa, right? Awa has heard you, and all these animals come in to take on the people who've come to colonize it. Awa heard the call of those who are in need. Nature is Awa, and it will hear our call when we're ready. So, beautiful question, my friend, and one that I'm very excited about. Lenny says, people say that when they eat something grown using Anastasia's method, they feel a rush of energy in their body when they take it. But absolutely. And I don't even need... When I eat the wild strawberries, I get the same thing. When I eat wild plums, I get the same thing. When I eat wild crab apples that are sweet and juicy and gorgeous, I get the same thing. I feel alive. Yeah? I've done a 21-day watermelon fast, juice fast, no food. I did it for 21 days, and I cannot tell you how clear I was, right? The foods we are eating are not edible, but we're eating them anyway, right? The foods we're eating are not edible, but we're eating them anyway. We have to return to that place that nurtures us fully and completely. And how do we do that? By uniting the people, and we're making sure that we're on that path. You know, we won't stop until it's done. Suzanne says, I birthed a family of kitties in my basement yoga studio in 2019. I do animal communication and read soul contracts between our fur angels and their loved ones. Other areas around this too. That's absolutely beautiful. I love that so much. I know a lot of people do that with horses in the equine sense, which is really wonderful. And I know we've obviously got a cat called Vinny, and he's a beautiful, majestic man. And he's a very wise soul. You know, a lot of times when I've needed his healing energy, he's been right there. He's sat on my chest with, like, looking at me, purring into my chest cavity, and I'm like levitating. So they're very beautiful animals. Very beautiful animals. Deborah, no worries. Sorry, my system crashed. I had to reboot it. That's absolutely fine. Jay Parsons, yeah. Hopefully you got the name of the book when we mentioned it. Daphne says, everything is energy. It is truly only about how we approach it, just like how we approach each other, without a doubt. Our energy is simply, in my belief, the soul speaking. Absolutely. Suzanne says, yes, absolutely, James. That's why I focus on eating mainly raw vegan, yep, and drinking juice, eating fruits that have life force energy. Absolutely. Mary, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Can remember how we used to see little sand twisters about a foot high, and I've not seen one in years. Then again, I'm not playing in the sandbox as much. Yeah, what's a sand twister? I might be a species I'm not aware of in the US. I'm not sure. Mira, have you changed? Myrta? Myrta? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Miss you each and every Sunday, David. Thank you so much. That's we do too. It's good that we're doing this. I'm with you. Appreciate you very much. Suzanne's on a walk. No worries. I hope you have a lovely time. All right, guys. Let's keep going then. Do you believe in Agartha, and what do you actually think we are living on a sphere or a flat plane? That's not a conversation I engage with because we have to keep the topic of conversation as grounded as humanly possible, because we want to unite even the people that think that spirituality's nonsense. You know, obviously we feel differently, but there are people out there who are able-bodied individuals who will join our movement, who will join what we're doing. You know, much like Restore Britain, they're gathering a colossal amount of people because he's saying what needs to be said, but he's still missing the bigger picture. We need to gather as many people as possible. So whether it's a ball or a disc, it doesn't matter, because we have to, it's about our children. You know, we have to be able to, I'm stood on the soil, I can see around me the soil that's around me, those trees, so someone else can focus on that and discover the ultimate truth in that situation. Right here, we're going to keep going with the Great Global Garden, you know, obviously, globe. Think of it just whole and complete and all together. So we've steered away from that, but I appreciate you asking. Suzanne says, grateful for still together, and the knowing of what the WH Alliance are still accomplishing behind the scenes. Yeah, absolutely. Crying because of something, and I also need to bring my little one to bed. Hopefully I can rejoin. No worries, Daphne. I hope that they get to sleep all right. Speak to you shortly. Right, okay. Let's just, oopsie, bit of lag. That's fine. Well, like I say, there are groups that want to talk about that, but we purposefully, and you'll understand, you know, that's a very dividing topic, and we need to unite people, not divide them. So, you know, that's one that really is very, it's controversial with people, you know, it's controversial. So, never heard of a sand twister, only sand fleas. Is a sand twister like a dust devil type of tornado? I haven't heard of any of these. Very interesting. British says, I think James is trying to say, stay caught up with all the comments, even though one's... Yeah, I am. Yeah, appreciate you guys. So if anybody mentioned about what I'm doing and where I am, that's exactly what I was doing. So, beautiful. James J. Parsons kindly sent you a payment. Oh, bless you. Hold on a sec. Let me try and find... Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I was really far back in the comments. Jay Parsons with $20. Hopefully this can help towards the Victor Schoberger book or anything else, but I really appreciate that, my friend. It's extremely kind of you. Thank you for supporting me. I only just noticed that you're all like, why is he not making comment on it? Sorry, that was very generous of you. Thank you, my friend. Really is. I appreciate that deeply. You know, absolutely, all of you, your help over the past 3 months has been helping to keep me going. You know, again, very soon I want to be back on my own feet properly. We have to find a benefactor that just gives us the money to get this done, and we will find that person. I know we will, because what we have is exactly what needs to be done. So that's extremely generous of you. Thank you so much, my friend. Very, very kind. So, all right then, guys, we'll keep going. I won't keep waffling too much. So let's come back here. Okay. So we got that, like the cutting of a plant, a place where man and woman has a connection with nature unlike any other. A connection with the standing people, the stone people, the plant people, the winged ones, the finned ones, and the finned ones. Standing people isn't just a cute turn of phrase for the Native Americans. They mean it literally, and so do the Africans, the Druids, and the Aborigines. So a lot of these... excuse me. Oh, Prince Royal, welcome, Prince Royal. We saw your comment in the meditation with David that we just saw. I don't know if you saw that, but that's very interesting. And Jay Parsons, I send you my love, my friend, and my deep, heartfelt gratitude. Thank you so much. Very kind of you to support me. Tammy, welcome. Very kind of you to be here. I'll go back to some comments in a minute, but we'll keep going with the content. So, yes. People would recognise the sentience within the natural world. You know, this is something that really has been lost. And one interesting concept, and I hope it's the next slide. It's not, but we're gonna explore and discuss all of the accounts of men and women in our past who retreated to the wilderness, to nature, or to the forest, and was able to come back with these revelations and these teachings, much like Jesus. And a few other individuals, so we'll get to that in a minute. So they knew that this sentience is a direct connection to all that is, a direct connection to God, oneness, great mystery, great spirit, whatever the word is for you. A way for men and women to receive what they need from the other world or from beyond the veil of forgetfulness. A connection which is spoken about within many religions and cultures, where men and women recede into a forest or into nature for extended periods of time. This connection would quieten the mind of the individual and give them access to their own inner realms. Now, this I know for an absolute fact, because one thing that I do forest bathing. So the Japanese healing modality where you take a group of people into a forest and you allow them to become very present. You allow them to do a little bit of meditation, a bit of breathing, to walk barefoot, to connect with the forest. And when we did those sessions, I did about 9 or 10 in total. At the very end of those sessions, these things that people would come out with were outstanding. I'm talking about people that class themselves as average folk. This is people that would say that about themselves, and then they're coming out with this wonderful, gentle and profound wisdom, and all from spending a little bit of time in the woods. Honestly, the impact is incredible. Oopsie. This connection would be bolstered by the navigation of the subtle whispers from the animals and plant kingdom. If you take all our great... So this is a little bit from Anastasia. If you take all of our great thinkers without exception, people who have formulated religious teachings, which the vast majority of humanity are now following, or trying to follow, why is it that before formulating their teachings they became recluses, and in most cases went into solitude, into the forest? You'll have to forgive me with some of the... I thought I'd done these. So when I copy and paste the text over, I had to do these slides all the way up to the very end. There will be grammatical mistakes. I apologise, guys. I'm the capacity I have, I'm doing my best to be as professional as possible. There will be a few mistakes, so just know that I appreciate you very much, because it's something that's a little irritating to see. Why? Why did Moses go off to the mountaintop? I thought I'd delete these. And why did Jesus go off into the desert, the mountains, and the forest? Why did Siddhartha Gautama, who lived in India in the 6th century, spend 7 years alone in the forest? Moses spent 40 years as a shepherd in Midian before the burning bush, later 40 days on Mount Sinai. So there is a little bit of... and the four-leggeds, Deborah. There's a lot that I didn't include. There's a lot I didn't include. You're absolutely right. And yes, Deborah, thank you so much for your message. I haven't had a chance to respond yet, but I absolutely will. Tree Dog, very kind of you, brother. Appreciate that. Asana, James, we love you, and especially thank you. That's very empowering, guys. And sweet of you to say. And it gives me a bit of a breathing room, because, like I said, look, I like to push myself to that standard, because it's important. It's important to have a really nice professional flow, and we'll get there. Once I've got an assistant, much better. That might be a few months away. We'll see. So kind of you guys, very much. So Moses. So let's go back a sec. So we had Moses, Jesus, and Siddhartha. So Moses, 40 years as a shepherd in Midian before the burning bush, later 40 days on Mount Sinai. Jesus, 40 days fasting in the wilderness before his ministry began. John the Baptist lived in the desert on locusts and wild honey before preaching. I don't recommend a diet of locusts, but that's what they say. Elijah fled to the wilderness and later spent 40 days walking to Mount Horeb, where he heard the still small voice in a cave. And Muhammad regularly retreated to the cave of Hira on Mount Jabal Anur, where he received his first revelation. Now, curiously, you will also find that in the Arthurian tradition that Merlin retreats to the wilderness and has a glass observatory with, I believe it's 72 panels or 82 panels of glass where he can observe the stars. So he also retreated to the forest and became a hermit. You hear this so many times, that the retreating into the forest, supposedly, I feel I have actual personal experience of the truth of this, but when they retreated into the forest, they would have these revelations, they would expand, their inner world would expand. So my question for you, okay, Deborah, I've had chocolate covered grasshoppers taste like Cocoa Krispies. Fair enough. Well, if they're tasty, then fair enough, but I not sure about that one, but it sounds good. So the curious thing is, you now imagine, right? You imagine the land given back to the people. 6.6 billion acres of land given back to the people. 2.5 acres per person, living in the forest garden. Nature interacting with them. Feet on the ground. Water around them. The energy is clear. The air is clear. What are they going to be able to do? What are you going to be able to accomplish? Who are you going to become? Because at the minute, we have a lot of people are they've lost a lot of faith in humanity. They've lost a lot of faith that people can be good and decent people. I haven't yet, because lots of people haven't been given the pristine origins, right? If you don't give a mechanic, should we have a prop? Should we be a bit playful? If you don't give a mechanic a decent spanner, he's not going to fix your car, all right? If you sit there to a mechanic and say, I want you to fix my car, my engine, yeah, I want you to go in and dismantle my engine and fix it, but I'm not going to give you any tools, he'll look at you and say, you're stupid. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my life. Like, that's not going to happen. So we have to understand that we need, like these props, might do a video with this, we need the proper tools, we need the proper equipment, we need the proper environment, we need the proper nutrition, we need everything that has been stripped from us, okay? That's what we need. And when that happens, you will find a significant change in humanity and planet Earth, and that is the Great Global Garden. The Great Global Garden is playing upon, as we've talked about, the Garden of Eden, and that premise of that soft, that gentle garden. You know, it's not about farming. Farming's toiling and sweating. You know, you're sweating and toiling for what you got. The garden is, you're tending, you're experiencing, you're going with the garden, okay? And that's what it is. So, you know, we have to restore the pristine origins to humanity, then you can judge. All right, that's sock it to him. Well, I take that last bit back, because that's actually no. It's okay to have discernment and judgment on a behaviour, because when you're observing a behaviour, you're asking yourself, right, why is this the case? And that's what's led us to where we are. You know, why do you have people that are so greedy and violent and aggressive? Why do you have people that are narcissist? Why do you have people that are self-absorbed and think they're, the pouting whatever, that I'm a supreme being? Like, why do we have that? I don't behave that way, and I have no interest in that way. I have no interest in being superior to you, to being superior to anybody else. That gives me no pleasure, no joy, no excitement. It's dead and devoid in my consciousness. You know, so why are people going through that? And we have to trust that on the other side of this, on the other side of that question, that people turn to goodness and decency. You know, like I was absolutely struggling to get out of this window because a spider had created a web right there. Hold on. So right here, spider created a web in 45 minutes. In 45 minutes, that spider created the most intricate, beautiful web. And so I tried to get out, like, you know, doing some crazy stuff, trying to get out the window, and it was hilarious because I came back the next day and he decided he didn't want the web on that window, he wanted it on the other side, so it's a waste of my time. But I respected the creative effort of that spider, and look, all right, James, you know, don't go overboard, that's fine, but you know, I thought it was interesting, very interesting. So anyway, let's keep going, guys. So that's the Abrahamic side of things. Going into the more Indian, Vedic side of things, we had Siddhartha Gautama, years as a forest ascetic before enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. So again, the Buddha, the same situation. Vices, vested interest, and the third is a matter of study. Interesting, Mary. The 3 V's. You'll have to let me know. I mean, if you want me to discover the third V, I'm happy to. So anyway, vices, vested interests, and violence, maybe. And then we have Mahavira with Jain Tirthankara, who practiced severe forest asceticism for over a decade before attaining Kevala Jnana. Okay. And then you had countless rishis and sages of Hindu tradition, the whole institution of vanaprastha, forest dwelling, as a life stage, and tapasya, ascetic practice, performed in forests by figures like Vishwamitra, Valmiki, said to have lived as a bandit in the forest before becoming a sage, and many others in the epics. So that's very interesting. I probably butcher the pronunciation. It's my theme. I'm very good at pronouncing, but it's not so much with some of these words. So again, you have this interesting concept of going from a bandit to a sage. Yeah, going from, not that there's anything, you know, it's all about I suppose it's all about life, isn't it? But anyway, because there was a woman who basically became a bandit to take on her oppressors. You guys might have seen that recently. But the idea is that you can take... There's a beautiful parable from Anastasia. It would have been perfect to talk about this here, but I'd have to find... these are my Anastasia notes. So I have condensed Anastasia notes. Can you see that? Here. Oopsie. No, hold on. Yeah. So that's book 2. Oh no, what am I doing? Sorry, that's really silly. The tiniest screen possible. So there we've got book 1, New Civilization. So instant reincarnation, feelings and information. And then you've got intuitional knowledge from birth, food testing, the slave parable, which we're going to talk about today, and the playhouse parable. So these are my sort of like my condensed notes from my Anastasia readings, all 10 books. And I just made it where, you know, one book is just a couple of pages that I can go through. So, yeah, very interesting. Andromeda, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry if I haven't said hello to anybody, I'm very, very sorry. Let me know if I've been ignorant, and I'll rectify that. So yeah, Prince Royal says all that rock guy from Thor Marvel Comics. Let's have a look here. Rock beings from the movie Galaxy Quest. Sorry, Prince, I've missed your other comment. Yeah, so interesting. Well, you know, obviously there's many things in the Bible to do with all sorts of things like the giants and things like that. So again, that's another conversation I sort of steer away from, just because, you know, I don't know right now. You know, I don't know. Maybe those things will be revealed in time, and probably a lot of stuff is hidden from us. But I know that Noah, the movie Noah, which is an awful movie, they literally stripped any kind of morality out of that movie. It was ridiculous. They talked about the rock giants in there too. But anyway, coming back. So yeah, you have this idea of a bandit going from a bandit to a sage, like this elevation of behaviour, this elevation of consciousness, this going from to something, and all because of the forest and nature. And then Ramakrishna, intense periods of solitary spiritual practice through more temple-based than forest-based. So it was more temple-based, but again, you have this solitary spiritual practice, this ability to go within, and connect in, you know, and receive these beautiful experiences. Yeah, I'm with you, Deborah. I've lost my laptop, so I need a new one. Deborah says, my dang system crashed again trying... Oh, bless you. Well, I'm sorry about that, but we're grateful you keep trying, Deborah, and we're grateful you're here, so keep going. You know, hopefully it'll level itself out and you'll be able to stay with us till the end. Brizzy says, I'm always avoiding messing up what bugs and animals have created and helping Tree Dog to avoid messing them up too. And look, like, nature is eternally forgiving. You know, like, it's eternally forgiving. If you go into anything with a reverence, it will meet you equally with that reverence. You know, that is nature. It will meet you with that reverence. So the other day, Annie and I laid a seagull to rest. I went to the gym. To the left-hand side, there was just a dead seagull on the concrete. Like, somebody might have moved it, but it was just left there. So I picked it up, took it in the car, brought it into the mountains. I picked some wild bouquets. I don't know if you guys saw this, actually. Let me show you, because I think it's magnificent. I absolutely think it's wonderful. I'll show you the picture real quick. So we do little ceremony. Not ceremony. It's not that deep. It can be that deep. So if you want it to be that deep, it can be. But I just think it's a lovely idea at the very least. So we laid this beautiful seagull to rest. Here we are. So we'll just come out of here a second. Come across. So here was the bouquet. So this was a wild foraged. I picked this myself. So the rose is from the supermarket, but the rest of these are wild flowers. Okay, so I'm learning a lot of them, obviously. So, but I can't go for. Although I did. Hold on. Where's the? So that was the seagull. Might be a bit distressing for some people. So sorry if that is. But we laid it to rest. You know, where it should have been. You know, in a place that was. There's Deborah. Thank you for messaging, Deborah. So these were just grasses, you know, beautiful things. We laid them out. There's our kitty Vinny. Beautiful joie de vie being here as well. And then obviously the different types of flowers, you know, and these just all grow wild in incredible abundance, you know, but people aren't aware of them. Red campion, so quite a few different species there. So what did we have in there? I made a list. Yeah, we had curly dock, great willow herb, sweet vernal grass, Yorkshire fog, March bedstraw, and purple moor grass, and a few more, and a little sprig of hydrangea. So, you know, it's just, again, it's one of those ways of respecting nature. Lucas, no worries. Hi all, sorry couldn't be with you all today. Just arrived in Cumbria, and we'll have a 2-year-old scrambling all over me very shortly. Hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for commenting, brother. I appreciate it very much, my friend. He's back off to work for a couple of weeks, which is very unfortunate. It'd be much better to have Lucas back home and doing what we're doing, but, you know, in good timing. So yes, very interesting. It is to me anyway. Okay, let's come back here. So, there we go. Gail says, beautiful flowers. Thank you, appreciate that. Deborah says, someone on Facebook did that to 3 little marsh owls. I saw that post. Yeah, they did. Such a wonderful tribute. And it is. You know, it's not nice to be around something that's passed away, but it's better than for it to be on a concrete slab in a town that people are walking by couldn't care less. Now it's in nature, and a fox might come along, or a buzzard might go down and have its dinner, and that's fine. But at least it's back where it belongs, you know, out in nature. I love that asana. That's absolutely beautiful. Well, there's a lot of people doing that now. I've done it with deers. We've done it with a buzzard. I stopped very dangerously, but I went late at night, and it's a very straight road. So for about a mile, there was no cars. So I stopped on a motorway, and I picked up a buzzard, brought it home, and we took it up into the woods, and we laid some flowers around, and it was beautiful. I mean, I've done it with the hedgehog. I think I told you guys about the hedgehog story, where I put the hedgehog just to the side of the road. And when I got home, there was a concrete area that I always used to go outside my house. Welcome, Amber. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being here very much. There was a concrete area, and the day, so I'd driven an hour and a half home. Out of the bush, this little black silhouette waddled over. It waddled over to me right in front of my feet in the middle of this concrete area, sniffed in my direction, and waddled off. And it was a hedgehog. Right? It was a hedgehog. It was a hedgehog that had come to me. Say it was coincidence. That's fine. It said thank you. I put the hedgehog from the road by a tree, said a bit of love, got home, and the hedgehog came out to greet me. And I didn't have my phone with me. That was just a moment for me and the hedgehog. Normally I captured a few of these things sometimes, but that was out of this world. You know, absolutely beautiful, out of this world. So, right, I'll get to the comments in a moment. So we've got the Taoism. So some Taoism examples. So Laozi. Legend holds he rode west and vanished into the mountains or the desert after routing the Tao Te Ching. Various Chan and Zen patriarchs and hermits, like Bodhidharma, said to have meditated facing a wall in a cave for 9 years. And then some from Tibetan Buddhism. Milarepa lived for years in mountain caves in solitary meditation, surviving on nettles, which is very interesting because nettles are actually one of the most highly nutritious plants that you can forage, especially here in the UK. They are an absolute powerhouse. Asna says, James, almost brings tears to your eyes when an animal chooses to acknowledge us. Without a doubt. You know, this is why I'm so passionate. I'm so passionate because, you know, nature will do that more and more. You know, it'll do it more and more. The otters, the beavers. I'll be sitting by a river and a beaver will swim over and it'll sit next to me. You know, it'll bring me a twig or something. It'll bring me a branch. And to some people that sounds like, oh, silly. But to me, that's one of the most beautiful gestures of these sentient beings that are finally demonstrating their recognition of us. Because like in Deborah's beautiful teachings, David, appreciate you being here so much. There are so many flowers even in the desert. Absolutely, my friend. Appreciate you being here, David. Very kind of you to join us. Yeah, without a doubt, you know, the nature has the most gorgeous elements to it. Really, really does. So you imagine how nature's going to feel. You know, nature will keep giving to us. The more we destroy and annihilate it, it'll continue to give. But when we start respecting it, when we start loving it and having compassion for it, you know, it's a whole different ball game. Zoroaster, or Zarathustra, tradition holds he withdrew to a mountain where he received his revelation from Ahura Mazda. Right, so again, that was interesting. We talked about that a couple of lives ago. And then Francis of Assisi retreated to mountains and wilderness, notably Laverna, for prayer and reportedly received the stigmata there. Right? Is this not... Do we see the theme? Yeah? Do we see the theme that's popping up here? My bum's going to sleep. I'm a bit lower down because my blanket's in the wash. Let me bring it down a little bit. Is that alright? I think that's good. So we have these examples of these individuals who, when living in a natural environment, they were able to attain these beautiful states of beings. Okay? Very much so. Gail says not just the animals and plants, but also the sentient insects. Without a doubt, you know, I have had experiences with spiders, dragonflies. My father had a dragonfly land on him. Annie has had a. I mean, this isn't an insect, but Annie has had. Well, she did. She had a damselfly that keeps landing on her down by our decking. Victoria, very interesting. Welcome, Victoria. Thank you for being here. I know you made a comment because my mother had the same Morse code ringing in her ear. That's very fascinating that you had that too. Thank you for tuning in. Karina, just checking. I hope I did say hello and welcome to you. I just double checking. I'm pretty sure I did, but I've been very engrossed. So if not, thank you for tuning in. Very kind of you to be here. Karina says, I love that, James. The seagull, the way you transitioned it so respectfully, and for us broke down the explanation of all the individual components of the bouquet. Absolutely. To Atahua Hockey. To Atahua Hockey? Karina, I've got a lot of learning to do. That was beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. You know, and there are, I mean, like I say, our friend Craig, I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the live, he is an absolutely phenomenal mind when it comes to foraging and everything to do with foraging. And he's just given so much incredible knowledge. It's amazing, and I can't wait to learn it all. You know, there are things in our natural world, my friends, that are just beyond outstanding. You know, and we're yet to explore it. So what are the pristine origins? So from these individuals who have gone into the woods and the forest, they have connected at very deep levels. They have entered into these states of being. What I'd like to suggest is it starts to bring forward this wholeness. Okay? It starts to bring forward this wholeness. The idea is to come back to wholeness within the self, through the outside and the within, like a toroidal field. Now, I'm sure, I don't know if it's just me, if you look at this image, does that not look like this idea of coming from nature, coming from our inner world, and meeting in the middle? You know, and then everything around it. It feels that way, right? So we're on about restoring nature because we want to connect with nature. You know, Michael has this philosophy of holism. Holism with a W and holism with an H. So it's like a holyism and a holism, but they're both intertwined, which I love. I think it's fantastic. And again, the great global garden is this idea. So whatever we believe, you know, it is this toroidal field, which I have been looking at this potentially as a logos philosophy. I don't know. Might be a cool little logo to do, but it's this idea of going from the within and going from the without and making it one, you know? So I just thought that was very curious. Deborah does... Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Absolutely. By becoming at one with our internal environment and our external environment, it is as though we have unravelled ourselves, only to re-ravel, or ravel, don't know if that's the right grammar, ourselves back together again through the earthly experience. Like light splitting into all of the individual colours, only to be put back together again into one unified medium. Now it's interesting, you'll see, obviously David did a lot of research with this, was the prism, and the light hitting and splitting into the colours. You know, so if we are made of light, and we have split into all of those colours, then as we start to, should we say, whether it's literally or metaphorically, return back together, we're returning to wholeness. You know, so this idea of the light is returning back to this wholeness. Victoria says, I did. It was the weirdest, lol, but I'm here for it. I couldn't really figure out what spirit was trying to tell me, so stay the course was a great message for me. Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. Just going to have a bite of an apple, guys. I hope it's okay. Amazing. So Brizzy says, our chickens got attacked once and they scattered and it was late at night. We couldn't find one. A Luna moth showed up, flew into me then flew straight into the missing chicken in the shadows. Amazing. And she says it was such a magical experience, I couldn't believe it, without a doubt. And really quick, let's just go. Before our books were made on paper, all of these great teachers went straight to the source, the Book of Kin, the Book of Time and Life, and that's delivered through the tree. So you have the Tree of Life, you have the Tree of Knowledge. Oh, James, that's pathetic that you can't fully remember that. The Tree of Wisdom, Tree of Knowledge, and the Tree of Life and Death. Someone's going to correct me in there. The biblical representation, please, somebody, if you're able to correct me now. I should know that. It's ridiculous. But I watched a video recently of a gentleman who had forgiven the man who had... this is a very intense topic, but I hope this is okay with everybody. A man who had forgiven the man who had killed his children, 3 of his children. The man was a drunk driver. You might have seen this video. He was a drunk driver speeding, and don't need to go any further. When he goes to the prison, because this gentleman is in prison, of course, when he goes to the prison and they're having this conversation, 3 of these birds land on the prison wall, and they are calling into the courtyard. And the guy who's forgiven him, he recognised it, and he said, "Look at that, 3 birds." Yeah, so I don't need anybody to tell me otherwise. That was his children. Yeah, nature has a fantastic way of bridging the world between the other world, spirit, whatever word, heaven, whatever word resonates. It is the bridging of that other world to this world. And my mother had that dream, don't forget, about the rainbow bridge, which was the rainbow portal, which was incredible. So the more that we return to the pristine origins, the more we reconnect with the other world. You know, it's like Awa on Pandora. They have multiple connections. They can connect with the memories of their ancestors because they are a part of it. They are one and the same. Nature is that connection. So, yeah, Pristine, yeah, it's incredible. I know, my goodness, I'm so happy. Pay attention to the world around me, absolutely. Butterflies for me too, without a doubt. Yeah, beautiful, guys. Right, whoopsie, we're ready for our next meditation. Hope everyone's okay with that. It's definitely a good job we took the sound out of that transition. It would have driven people mad. Alright, guys. So, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to keep the fan on because it's very hot in this room. We don't have anything like... we don't have air conditioning, so that's my little air conditioner. Jay Parsons, I love hearing these stories about nature connecting with us, without a doubt, my friend. And again, yeah, without a doubt. Alright, guys. Oops. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Bring yourself into that present moment. I often see behind my eyes. It brings me very present. And once again, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Allow your body to rest. Reconnect yourself with your body. Open up that dialogue. This meditation is going to be all about returning to the pristine origins. May all souls on planet Earth return to the pristine origins. That place of wholeness, of completeness, where we have everything that we need and more, where nature connects with us on every facet, where we can go straight over to the river or the creek. We can place our hands in the water and bring that crystal clear liquid up to our lips, where we can go over to our apple trees or our berry bushes, and we can eat those berries and feel the life as it goes and enters into our body. To eat something so pure, so connected to the soil, to the roots, to the plant, that it provides you with such an incredible amount of energy. Because you imagine the difference between a vegetable or a fruit that has been on a ship for weeks and an apple that you have pulled straight from the tree. The difference is night and day. So may you breathe the cleanest air. May you be surrounded by the quietest trees. May the badgers and the foxes wander past you, just like you're another tree, completely at peace with your presence. May the deers come up and interact with us personally. May we have birds that jump onto our hand and eat the berries straight out of the palm of our hand. May our children be uninterfered with, eating that perfect food. May they run barefoot, be free from dogma and programming. May the connection of the natural world provide them with all the intelligence they need. This is a word. This is a world. It is a whisper that is right around the corner. And I know that for many of us we will not stop until the pristine origins have been returned to the people. So I leave you for a moment now. Imagine your beautiful homestead, the land that you're on. Imagine being free and looked after and cared for in the most beautiful way. And when you're ready, bring yourself back. Okay. Bring yourself back, and please feel free to share anything that came to you, anything that you're grateful for. You have to forgive my glasses, they're a bit funky. They're blue light glasses to stop the lights going in my eyes. 333. Ah, we are. We're almost at an hour and 33 minutes, my friends. It really feels like time has slowed today, does it not? Do you guys feel the same way? We've still got 2 hours left together, which feels fascinating. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Is time slowed down? Is something going on? Anyway, I appreciate you guys very much. Blah put his post Imagine right when James said, wow, interesting. They are singing the Imagine John Lennon song, going to double meditate. Amazing. Very interesting. Alright then guys, yeah, please let me know how that felt. Deborah says, thanks, that was a lovely meditation, brother. I could see the life force of the berries I was consuming. Wonderful, I absolutely love that. Brizzy, yeah. Suzanne says, I'm grateful that we're all here together. I appreciate that, Suzanne. I'm grateful too. So one thing I'm grateful for is that we are giving birth to this idea in our hearts. We are not thinking in terms of limitation. We are thinking in terms of absolute completeness. We're talking about the Great Global Garden and we're doing it. You know, we will have an impact on the world. Slowly but surely, we will do this. Lenny, I appreciate you very much. Gail says, I also felt that time slowed down. Really? Yeah, we've got 2 hours left. You know, isn't that crazy? Feels like we've been live for 3 hours, but I'm loving it, don't get me wrong. Absolutely loving it. Anika says, yes, it has slowed down for me. I'm grateful for that makeup for last week's shorter live. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I absolutely do. Do you know what is... There are people saying because they shut Sundown time is returning to normal. That's interesting. Before we were at like 45 seconds was a minute. I feel the slowdown. Very curious. Well, do you know there's another thing? Our skies are clear. Our skies are clear. I don't know how many you feel about that. They've admitted to geoengineering, so I'm assuming that's just common knowledge at this point. But we have clear skies, you know. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Mum. Yes, I agree, James. When you channeled and your nan said the birds of feather at her, which I was seeing. Yeah, that was very interesting, Mum. Very interesting. Asna says, James, we don't hear the fan you save. I appreciate it. I turned it off anyway. I think there is a subtle whirring. But hopefully, thank you. That's very kind of you. It was so cool, Gail. Tree Dog was there with me. Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're commenting on that. Beautiful. Yeah, amazing. All right then, guys. Tammy says, I just heard you say 333. Are you a member of the Masons family? No. No, we are not. 333 is the play on synchronicity with David. He used to end his lives at 333. 333 was in his name. I have no affinity with Masons. I know that there's a lot of the dodgy stuff that happens at the higher degrees, the controlling factors and the very bizarre symbolism and etc. etc. That is not something I engage with. We've just been playing on the 333 as the the spiritual synchronicity that is connected with David. So that's one thing that we've enjoyed doing. We have had some interest. I have thought about it. The 33. I have thought about it. 33 vertebrae in the spine. Yeshua at 33. Like everything is symbolic. Like the whole point of the swastika. Well, the swastika is the Arthur's wheel in the sky. It's the Bootes constellation going around the North Star. But of course, when you then assign that symbol to a movement that caused pain and suffering, it's like that symbol then changes. So symbology is very, very powerful. It's in the sense that it has a great ability to manipulate a lot of people. It really does. And I suppose it has benefits. Toroidal field, whatever. But no, we're not. Thank you, Lydia. Lovely meditation. I felt very present. I appreciate that. Yeah, so no, it's interesting because when we did the Light of Albion, a few people had made those accusations. No, I have no interest in, like I say, the secret societies, any of that nonsense. I've seen Rupert Lau, he's got the Masonic symbolism at the back of his video, and it's hard, it's hard because a lot of people have, it's not easy to trust nowadays. So there's a lot of faces that pop up, the whole stuff with Joe Rogan. I ended up seeing his logo and then some of the videos he put. Like I don't watch Joe Rogan, I'm not interested, but millions of people do. So it's so hard to know when, if something is a controlled opposition or things. It is difficult. It is. I understand how you feel. Oh, Sam's Motel. How come you've got a new name? Have you changed your YouTube channel or are you using a different one? But welcome. Thank you for being here. From the Glade, the remedy to all of the global problems is so simple. If they really wanted things to be better, they would just give us our land. But they have deliberately made it so complicated. They have. But, Lenny, it's very interesting with the parable of the trillionaire. The priest that has the change of heart. That is something that we will cover. 333 mirrored would be... What would it be? 333 mirrored. I don't understand. What do you mean, Mary? You'll have to let me know. But yes, hi, Sans. And a real Christian says no spraying in a bit. Yeah, it's been a long time. Weird. We haven't had it for a little while now. Very odd. Almost like it's just stopped. I mean, maybe that's beneficial. Who knows? EEE. Oh, I've got you. Yeah, is that what you mean? That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Anyway, let's come back. Full monitor. So we were talking about wholeness, internal, external, toroidal field, and the book of nature, that these sages and these wise men and women would venture into these locations and come back with amazing things. Tammy says, okay, thank you. I'm just very confused what President Trump is doing against our Constitution. I voted for him 3 times. I know, Tammy. Like, we, out of respect for the belief of everybody in the comments section, I love and appreciate and respect you all. I think it's not so far out there to say that we are in a world where, with leaders and people who get into power, how can you know? You know, how can we know? How do you get to the highest levels of wealth? Where does it start? So we just have to look to each other, recognize that we are the people, and just proceed from there. So I totally get you, Tammy, you know, and I've always wanted to be as transparent as possible. You know, I come from the East Midlands. My mother and father, you know, brought me up beautifully. We do not come from wealth. We do not come from aristocracy. You know, we are not part of secret families and societies. You know, that is not something that is in our family. You know, we're very, from what I understand, we're a very humble family. I don't think there's any grand elements in our family line. So I've no idea. No idea. But even Andy Burnham saw a video recently, and what is he doing? A Masonic handshake with the guy. I did the post a minute ago about the Fabian Society with the wolf in sheep's clothing, and do you know what's interesting? Somebody sent... Oh, Andromeda. Thank you, James. They are all very important and profound spiritual topics. Much love. Thank you so much for the support, Andromeda. That's really, really kind of you. You know, again, I appreciate all of you for your heartfelt time and attention, and for any donations that you have. It's really, really helps me out a lot. You know, I can't tell you. You've kept me going. You know, last month I had about £400 come in from Facebook and YouTube, and you know, obviously that's not enough for the entire month, but it helped me out. It kept me going. It gave me breathing room. You know, because when you're wondering where money comes from, it's a pressure cooker. You know, I stay relaxed and at peace, but it's a pressure cooker. You know, and it's just so, it's boring. You know, it is really boring. So your donations, anybody supporting me is really, truly, deeply and gratefully received. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. And as I say to you, we did have a guy many years ago give us £60,000. It lasted 4 of us for about 3 years until it all ran out. But people are out there who will support us. I know there are, you know. So on that note, guys, well, we didn't do it last time, but maybe this time... I'll pop a little goal in there, a little sort of super chat goal. If you guys are willing, then it would be lovely to feel the support. If not, that's that's totally fine. There's no expectation. Your presence and your time and energy is my goodness, what a wonderful exchange. So I appreciate it very much. Deborah says alms for poor, brother. What do you mean? Is that right? ALMS? You'll have to let me know what you mean. But thank you, Andromeda. Very, very kind of you. Very generous. So coming back here. Yes, the Book of Life. Oh, bugger. Sorry. So it is, to me, this. Oh, hold on. Let me just come back over here. I want to check this is actually... Did I make a mistake? Why is that there? Before our books, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The greatest lesson behind with Pristine, everyone, therefore. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with it. I thought that was a different one, but okay. That's fine. Off and on. There we go. Back into it. So, coming back in here. So, what is our third dimensional reality, right? So we've had these individuals who've gone into the forest. They've come up with these profound teachings. You know, it's very bizarre, because you'd think if they did come out with those profound teachings, then why was a return to the forest not on the cards? But we have to understand that a lot of our books have been written by men and women. Okay, so the history can be contorted. The conqueror writes the history. You know, King Henry VIII changed the Bible to suit his own needs. So we have to understand that some of the knowledge of our past may have been lost, but I believe that we are reacquiring it. So life is like a roller coaster. At first, it's daunting to be on the roller coaster, fearful even. You could want to get off, or to regret that you were even on there in the first place, you know, to be in physical reality, to be in modern society. But eventually you get over the top of the loop as the Great Global Garden continues what it's doing, as it succeeds and accomplishes. It gets up. Yelena, I'll get 1 second. That's very kind. As eventually you get over the top of that loop and you end up finding it deeply exciting and thrilling all of the way till the end. We are not here to purely suffer on Earth. We are only suffering because we are still in the play of exploration and discovery. Once we remember, meaning to call to mind again or to come back again. I always like this idea of remembering is like taking pieces and bring it back into the whole. Do you guys feel that? That the idea of the word remembering is like taking bits and pieces, like puzzle pieces, and putting them in? That's what it reminds me of. And then once we remember who and what we are, what this place is supposed to be, we will experience the most incredible expansion back into oneness, you know, becoming, should we say, gods, you know, this idea of being fully, having full access to our capabilities. So, bless you so much, Yelena. I appreciate you deeply. Big hugs from Bosnia, dear James. Thank you so much for your generosity and for supporting me, Yelena. And I hope you saw my comment. I checked on my YouTube comments because it's been a while because I've been busy, and I think I saw a donation from you, so I thanked you on there. I hope you received that comment, because if I didn't respond to that, I'm so sorry, and I appreciate that very much. Very, very, very kind of you, so thank you. Tammy says, thank you, sir, for your kindness and understanding. I bet we're all going through this difficult time trying to understand. Absolutely. It's Tammy, we live in the most difficult time, because especially with AI, especially with voice, you know, I've seen videos where they've taken... AI has just mimicked people almost identically. Like, it's difficult. It's difficult. I totally understand how you feel. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. Sam's Motel says, it seems that something or someone's trying to pressure cook us all into one way or another. I guess they're trying to stop the movement forward. Absolutely. But they will not succeed, because the wills of the people, the will of you and I, the fortitude of you and I, the temperance of you and I, my willingness to give my heart and soul, to give my life to this movement and mission, means that it doesn't matter, because whether I succeed or whether you succeed, someone will carry the torch. You know, so we will succeed because we have to. End of story. That is the end goal. I have the energy and the will right now to do what needs to be done. So, Asana says, coming together during these times like these are even more miraculous than during these, without a doubt. You know, and they often say this is this. Okay, well, that's a big conversation. We'll go into that in a moment. The greatest lessons of humanity are that the pristine origins are for everyone. Therefore, everyone must be in harmony. So this is the big kicker. And I believe that this is the reason why David used to talk so much about ascension. Okay? The idea of eventually, you know, or people talk about the third dimensional earth and the fifth dimensional earth, this splitting. You know, this splitting. And I understand why they say it. We're getting into a very interesting concept here. You know, it's an interesting one to discuss. 124, 46 goes up to about 2. That's fine. Excuse me. Oops. If anyone is behaving in a way that is out of alignment, then the whole can never truly be whole. This is why we have the idea of ascension. If you have someone who is using their divine will to not live in harmony, then it is broken and can never truly be what it can be. If thousands of people are growing gorgeous gardens which allow for the harmony and beauty of life, and then... Oh, sorry, guys. Someone comes along and starts cutting the trees down to build a dead AI data center, you have a massive imbalance. There are individuals on our planet who are... Look at the state of that. Look at the state of it. Yeah, you imagine this as 860 acres of trees. It's no longer that. It is metal, concrete, wiring, rubber. It is chemicals. It is abhorrent. Yeah, this site is abhorrent. It is brutal. This is absolutely brutal, and they need to be stopped. And it's something I'm really trying to be a part of. But the Great Global Garden has to come first. You know, the Great Global Garden is above the fight against the AI data centers, although that's a really silly thing to say, but I'm hoping there are people out there doing that work. Hold on one second. Absolutely, Tammy. Sorry, guys. Absolutely. And this is the problem. One thing that's interesting about Frank Herbert... Let me finish this slide and I'll come back. So, I believe that we live in the greatest self-discovery period known to mankind, or humanity. Millions of people are starting to wake up to the things that have been happening in our world, and they are recognising how it does not work. We talked about this concept last week. When a people finally wake up to what doesn't work, we can then move forwards to the place which does work, the Great Global Garden. Where did I get the apple? Oh, do you mean, sorry, Lenny? I just in my mind I had this idea of just materializing it out of nowhere. It's a store-bought one. It's a store-bought one, my friend. I'm sorry to say that. I genuinely am. It's not a beautiful one, unfortunately. So, the Great Global Garden. When did we step away from the pristine origins? So this is the topic we're going to go into next. We'll come over to the comments for just a moment. What were we going to talk about? It's gone out of my mind. Our next one is 2 hours 9. Good, so we've got 19 minutes. So the time has definitely slowed down. I know we've just said that. Am I the only one feeling that? The time has definitely slowed down. That's extremely interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Frank Herbert, thank you, Deborah. Legend. Deborah, that's amazing. I really loved that. This is why we're a community. I really appreciate that very much. Yes, Dune. For whatever reason at the minute, I'm obsessed with the Dune films. I really... Not obsessed. I don't get obsessed about things. But I'm loving the Dune films. I've watched them a while ago. When I'm eating dinner or when I have a moment to just be with myself, I watch 10 or 15 minutes. And it's just fascinating because Frank Herbert, he did not like messiahs. So he really did not like messiahs. Oh, bless you, Yelena, for the second donation. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. Keep going, James. Things will change. Cheers, brother. That's very kind of you, Yelena. Thank you for 2 donations. It's really sweet of you. Very kind, very generous. Definitely helps me out. I'm in about a week and a bit. I'll get my next little bits from from the donations from everybody. So thank you, Yelena. Very, very kind. Very sweet. Frank Herbert, in his books, he did not like the idea of sort of heroes or messiahs for a couple of reasons. First of all, the reason why he didn't like messiahs is because often what happens is people relinquish their rational thinking to a figure. And the idea is that human beings are flawed. You know, I will make mistakes. I will make poor calls of judgment. And so we want to install and help people to have rational thinking, to think for themselves, to be self-reliant, self-autonomous. You can't control a people if they have 2.5 acres to live in peace and harmony. You know, you won't be able to control them because they don't need anything you have. That's the idea. You know, the idea is that they don't need anything that you have. They've got it all where they are. You know, and if we can foster lovely, beautiful community, then that's even better. But the other idea of heroes was this idea that again, you know, charismatic heroes he deemed to be tricky because, again, people are looking for leadership. You know, they are. People are looking for leadership. They're looking for people who have the strength to do it. Because when you're working 12 hours a day... Sorry, this is very distracting. Let me move this over. When you're working 12 hours a day, you tell me where most people have the time to do what needs to be done. It's extremely time consuming. I don't stop from morning until sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, so I'll start at 9, finish at 1. You know, yeah, I'll go to the gym, but I'm thinking. I'll sit out on the roof, but I'm thinking. I'm doing posts. I won't list it all out, but I'm in it all the time. If I was working like Lucas or Annie were, I'd be distracted. You know, I wouldn't be able to pour my time and energy in, which is why through pain of fucking starvation, I have to continue this path. You know, I cannot relinquish this, and Lucas understands that. Annie understands that. You know, so we have to do what's done, and it will change. It will change. But again, the point is that when you have the pristine origins, when you restore this to people, they become a lot more self-autonomous, and they start to be a lot more self-reliant. So I love those films because it's very curious, the sort of weird synchronicity of what's happening on Earth right now. But yes, messianic figures, that's the whole thing of Paul Atreides. Messianic figures that, you know, he basically genocides 60 billion people across the galaxy or something. Like, that's not acceptable. That's not the path to go down. But anyway. Lenny says, we work 12 hours a day to pay back a mortgage on a house. We are hardly in, absolutely, because we are working 12 hours a day to pay for it. Insanity. Well, do you know what? That literally takes us to exactly... This is the perfect point. So we're going to go back over. Brizzy, I appreciate that very much. Lydia, oops, subtle F. In 12 live streams, we probably have, what, maybe 2 F-bombs? I promise I don't swear ever. No, I do. I try to keep it PG on our lives, though. So, when did we step away from the pristine origin? So, ironically, Lenny, this is exactly what we're about to go into. So, what I'd like to do, guys, so we're going to do our next meditation in a little while. So, we'll do like an interval in this. So, I'd like to read from the Anastasia book. So, I didn't get a chance to get all of the information, but I have got the book open, so we will go through it. So, the question is, when did we step away from these pristine origins? So this is a direct quotation from the Anastasia book. I'll just show you. It's the New Civilization. We also have it here. So we're going to read from book 8.1. And this is the slave parable. So it's the priests of Egypt and how they went, they intelligently, whether this is true or not, the parable makes total sense to me, where they took the slaves and instead of making them slaves, they set them free and gave them coins instead. Lenny says, and at the same time brainwashing to teaching our children the same thing. They call it the American dream. I prefer Anastasia's dream. I agree with you. Absolutely. The slaves walked slowly in single file, every one of them carrying a polished stone. 4 lines of them, each line stretching 1.5 kilometers long, from the stone quarries to the site where construction on the walled city had begun. Under the watchful eyes of armed guards, 1 military guard for every 10 slaves. Off to one side, on the pinnacle of a 13-meter-high mountain crafted out of polished stones, sat Cratius, one of the high priests of Egypt. For the past 4 months, he had been silently observing the construction activity. Nobody distracted him. Yeah, there you go. Pay attention to that one. Nobody distracted him. You hear that? Now that's very true for modern society, yeah? For those people that are at the highest echelons of power, nobody distracts them. I'm not talking about the CEOs, I'm not talking about Elon Musk, I'm talking about these people. The people in the shadows. Okay? Yes, absolutely, Pristine. Absolutely, Elena, without a doubt. Maybe we will one day. Nobody distracted him. Not a single person dared interrupt his contemplation, even with a sideways glance. Both slaves and guards accepted this artificial mountain with its throne on top as a fixed feature of the landscape, and nobody paid attention to the figure either sitting motionless on the throne, or walking to and fro around the lookout platform atop the mountain. Cratius had set himself the task of restructuring the state, consolidating the power of the priests for a millennium, subjecting to them all the people of the earth, turning all, without exception, into national rulers, including national rulers, into slaves of the priests. One day, Cratius came down from his throne, leaving a double in his place. The priest changed his clothes and took off his wig. He gave orders to the captain of the guard to have him bound in chains like a simple slave and placed in the line behind a young, strong slave named Nard. Looking into the faces of the various slaves, Cratius had noticed that this young man in particular had a penetrating and purposeful look, not a wandering or detached gaze, as did many of the others. Nard's countenance alternated between excitement and intense contemplation. That means he's hatching some kind of plan. The priests realised, but he wanted confirmation of the accuracy of this observation. For 2 days running, Cratius followed Nard's every move, silently hauling the stones, sitting beside him at mealtimes and next to him in the barracks. So this is an important understanding, because these priests, these people in the shadows, they're not afraid to do the work as well, you know? They're not afraid to do what needs to be done. Will this situation keep up the rest of our lives? The priest watched as the young slave gave a shudder. Oh, sorry. On the third night, directly the sleep command had been given. Cratius turned to the young slave and in a tone of bitterness and despair whispered to no one in particular, "Will this situation keep up the rest of our lives?" The priest watched as the young slave gave a shudder and suddenly turned to face him. His eyes were sparkling, which was noticeable even in the dim torchlight of the cavernous barracks. "It won't last much longer," the slave whispered back. "I've been working out a plan, and you, old fellow, can be part of it." It's actually ironic, isn't it, really? Because it's kind of what we're talking about. Very fascinating. "What sort of plan?" the priest asked with a sigh of indifference. Nard began to explain with an air of confidence and enthusiasm. "You see, old man, soon you and I, and all of us, will be free men instead of slaves. Figure it out for yourself. There's just one guard for every 10 of us." Sometimes my copying and pasting. Sorry for the grammar. One guard for every 10 of us. That's as far as I got because I didn't have time. And I hope this is okay if I do this as well, guys. Hopefully it's alright. "And one guard, too, for every 15 women slaves who do the cooking and sewing. When the time comes, if we all fall upon the guards at once, we can overpower them. It makes no difference that the guards are armed and we're in chains. We outnumber them 10 to 1, and our chains can also be used as weapons to shield us from the blows of their swords. We'll disarm all the guards, tie them up, and seize their weapons." Hold on there, young man," Cratius sighed again, and added with feigned indifference. "Your plan isn't completely thought through. Sure, you can disarm the guards watching over us, but it won't be long before the ruler sends in replacements, a whole army maybe, and he'll have the insurgents killed." Guys, can you let me know if you're okay with this format? I'm kind of reading quite a lot here. Are you alright with a little bit of story time, with a little bit of this parable being shared? If so, please let me know in the comments. I want it to feel entertaining for you. "I've thought of that too, old man. We'll have to choose a time when the army's not around, and that time is coming. We've all noticed how the army's preparing for a campaign. They're getting... Wonderful. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. They're getting provisions ready for a 3-month trek. That means that in 3 months the army will arrive at its destination and engage the enemy in combat. It will be weakened in battle, but it will be victorious and bring back many new slaves. They're already building new barracks to house them. We have to start disarming the guards just as soon as one ruler's army goes into battle. The couriers will need at least a month to go call it home, and it will take at least 3 months after that for the weakened army to return." Oops, sorry. "By the time the 4 months are up, we'll be ready to meet them. We'll have at least as many fighters as there are in the army. The slaves they seize will want to join us when they see what's happened. I've thought it all out in advance, old man." "I see, young fellow. With your plan, you can disarm the guards and overpower the army," the priest answered, already sounding more cheerful than, and then added, "But what will become of the slaves after that, and what will happen with the rulers, the guards, and the soldiers?" "I haven't given too much thought to that. Only one thing comes to mind, though. Whoever was a slave in the past will become a free man. Whoever's not a slave today will be a slave tomorrow," replied Nard with some hesitation, as though thinking aloud. Yeah, well, that doesn't really solve it, does it? But anyway. "But what about the priests? Tell me, young man, after your victory, will they be slaves or not?" "The priests? Haven't thought about that either. But now, I'm thinking, the priests can stay where they are. The slaves and rulers listen to them. Sometimes they're hard to understand, but I get the feeling they're harmless. Let them keep on telling their stories about the gods, but we know best how to live our lives and have a good time." "Have a good time? That's great," responded the priest, and pretended he couldn't wait to get to sleep. But there was no sleep for Cratius that night, only contemplation. This is another important understanding. Sure, he thought, the simplest course of action would be to report this to the ruler and have them seize this young slave. He's clearly the chief instigator. But that won't solve the problem. The slaves will always have the desire to be freed from bondage. Are you paying attention to this? This is a parable, not a historical factual understanding. It is a parable, but listen carefully. The slaves will always have the desire to be freed from bondage. New leaders will emerge, new plans will be hatched, and as long as that goes on, the main threat to the state will always be from within. Cratius was faced with the challenge of working out a plan to enslave the whole world. Good job, Cratius. Well done, mate. Good use of your time. He realised there was no way he could attain this goal through physical compulsion alone. What he needed to do was exert a psychological influence on every single individual, on whole nations of people. He had to bring about the thought of every single human being to the notion that slavery is the highest bliss. Yikes. Isn't that brutal? He had to launch a self-developing program to disorient whole nations in space, time, and ideas. Especially in their literal perception of reality. You tell me, guys, does this not sound like truth? Yeah? This is a parable, but this is why we love the Anastasia books. Excuse me. Sorry, give me a moment. Does this not sound like exactly what is going on? Does this not make complete and utter sense? Because it does to me. I appreciate that, Suzanne. Love that James is reading. This is a very important parable for us. Such true. Oh, what? What? Hello? What are you doing? Okay, well, I don't know where he is. Don't know if you heard the cat. Anyway, coming back. Absolutely. Truth is shared in safe ways like parables. Absolutely, Asana. He had to launch a self-development. Cratius thought of... What? Oh, he's outside. Can you see him? Look at him, look. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Don't go anywhere. Oh, come across. What is he doing? What are you doing, little one? Hello. What? What are you doing, eh? Hello, darling. Yeah. You were saying hello to everybody. Hey? You saying hello? Yeah. His name's Vinny, if anybody's wondering. What you been doing? Look, you got cobwebs all over you. You've been out there scruffing, ain't you? Eh? Little sausage? Sorry, guys. Little intermission. Oh. Love him. What's his name? It's Vinny. Vincent. His name's Vincent. Really lovely. Lucas's daughter. He was born not breathing, and she was able to resuscitate him. It was amazing. So he's our beautiful soul, who probably wants food, but I can't do anything yet, my darling. I'll have to feed you afterwards. And don't sit on the keyboard. Hopefully it's turned off, or else everyone's. What? Very vocal, ain't ya today? Wish you matter. Anyway, sorry guys. It's a slight distraction. Hello, Vinny. I love it. He's a tuxedo. Who was I talking to today? Who was telling me about the tuxedo cat? Joie de Vie. So Joie de Vie, I don't know if she's here at the minute, but she was saying that she's had a lot of tuxedo cats as well, which is really lovely. Hello, darling. Yeah. Okay. So Cratius was working faster and faster. He was no longer conscious of his body or the heavy chains on his arms and legs. And all of a sudden, like a bolt of lightning, a program came to his thought. Even though all the details were still to be worked out, and he could not yet explain it to anyone else, he could already feel it within, exploding off the scale. This is the creation, all right? This is the creation of thought. This is the speed of thought that Anastasia talks about. Everything has a solution. Unfortunately, he was using his thinking for dark means. Cratius was now feeling himself to be the most omnipotent ruler of the world. Lying on his bunk in chains, he was full of self-exultation. Tomorrow morning, when they're escorting us all to work, I'll give us the secret signal to have the guard captain take me out of the line and remove the chains. I'll finalise my programme, say a few words, and the world will start to change. Incredible. Just a few words, and the whole world will be subject to me, to my thoughts. God really has given to man a power unequalled in the universe, the power of human thought. It brings forth words which can change the course of history. The situations turned out to be the situation's turned out very well indeed. The slaves have prepared their plan of insurrection. It's logical, this plan, and is clearly capable of leading to an interim result very favourable to them. But within just a few words, I shall ensure that not only they, but their future descendants and the rulers of the earth too, will be slaves for millennia to come. So you hear that? Not just the people. Sneakers is a tuxedo cat. She's chubby. Yeah, he's normal. I mean, he's got the mountains to walk around, so he's sometimes chubby and sometimes not chubby, depending on how long he's been out. So you see here, not just the slaves, but the rulers too. So even the monarchies, they are slaves. They are slaves to those in the shadows. And maybe we don't even know who the true people are in the shadows, you know? Maybe even the secret families, they're even slaves to a force. We don't know, do we? In the morning, what time is it? 2:09. Shall we go over and do our meditation? And then come back? I think so. I think let's do that, shall we? Let's just get it up. So our Lost Playground. From there, we go into, yeah, that one. But that's a little bit further down. Alright then. Okay, so if you guys, if you guys are ready, we will do our third meditation of the evening. Anika, yes, let's meditate. I appreciate that. So we're going to do our I am with you prayer. We're going to connect in. We're going to bring ourselves back into the present moment, which then allows us to activate the meditation effect and have a greater effect on the earth. Vinny's trying to sit in our singing bowl. Come here then, darling. What are you doing? Alright then, guys. So I'd like you to take a nice deep breath in. Okay, get yourself nice and relaxed. Remember that as we speak the words of this prayer, they will echo throughout our known world. They will impact consciousness and individuals on a quantum level, on a spiritual level. And the work and the presence that we do now here is incredibly powerful. So once again, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. So then, Great Spirit, we are with you, we are present, and we are here. We give thanks to the people of plant and stone, to the people who stand where their roots have now grown. We give thanks to those who crawl and who creep, to those with fins who swim in the deep. We give thanks to Great Eagle and those with wings, whose wisdom and truth Father Sky brings. We give thanks to the chiefs of fire and air, of water and Mother Earth, whose healing we bear. Sorry. Grandfather Sun and Grandmother Moon, you are the light, and we are the tune. Medicine walks reveal what you give. The language of love is the reason we live. Whirling rainbow brings a promise of peace, of uniting all nations, all peoples, and all creeds. From our hearts to our roots, to our crowns above, may we learn all our lessons and be open to love. We give thanks to the directions on the sacred wheel, whose guidance speaks on the winds that heal. We stand for all that is right and true, so that our loving light may shine on through. The presence of light, or Christ, resides in our hearts. May we forgive all those who miss their mark, as well as ourselves when we stumble and fall, and fail to uphold the highest of all. We walk this path in service of others, for nature, children, our sisters and brothers. Our minds are quiet, and our hearts are revealed. The earth is restored, and your children are healed. Danacho Wio, Great Spirit, it is said, and it is good. Namaste and Amen. Okay, guys, so I will now leave you for just a moment for some thoughts, some prayers for yourself. And when you're ready, please feel free to come back. Alright then, guys. Thank you so much, Sans. That's beautiful. Thanks, Mama. Love you. Alright, guys. One thing you're grateful for, one thing that may have come to you, if you're willing to share. One thing I'm grateful for is for Vincent. I would show you on... I show you him on my bed, but I don't have a library, so my bed is a library, a bed, an office, a meditation place, so it's a mess. It's basically my second desk, which I would normally have, so I would show you, but it's not pleasant. I'm normally a very organised, clean man, but it's not dirty, but there's just clothes and books everywhere, and we do what we gotta do, guys. Anika, that was beautiful. Thank you, Anika. Very kind of you. Deborah, another restorative meditation, brother. Thank you. That's my honour. Thank you, Deborah, and thank you for all of your beautiful wisdom as well. Soul Coach Suzanne says, grateful for you, James. I'm grateful for you as well. I'm with you also. Suzanne says the 13 families were taken out years ago, probably slaves to the archons above them. Meditation times, yeah, absolutely. Well, interesting. If that's the case, and we're just on a path back home, then so be it. You know, so be it. Multitasking, James, yeah, tell me about it, Mama. So, he's laid on the bed like this, and I really wish I could show you, but... Yeah, darling. Yeah, you put me up. And he's laid on all the books. A keyboard. His one leg is in the singing bowl, the other one's curled around it. He's such a funny cat. Gail, I love your meditations. Thank you, Gail. That's very sweet of you. And Sans Motel says, may it be. Absolutely. Thank you again, Anika. Let's not forget the like button. Yeah, oh my goodness, I haven't said that, have I? That's unbelievable. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button on the live. It helps push it out to new people. Very grateful. And if you haven't subscribed already, I mean, I'm sure, surely you guys have. If you haven't subscribed already, please do feel free to as well. A real creation, great. Got to set a timer for every hour to do this during my work week. Yeah, interesting. Well, you know, it's powerful. Yeah, it's a powerful way to continue to ground yourself. You know, even if it's not a full meditation every hour, just to bring yourself present every hour is something that I am terrible for. You know, isn't that funny? I'm terrible for it. So if we're able to bring ourselves present more often, how powerful can we truly become? Whew, God, it heats up quick in here. Time has definitely slowed down. Without a doubt, time has slowed down. I can't believe it. I mean, we've got an hour and 10 minutes left, but that's incredible. Really incredible. Excuse me. I agree completely, Suzanne. Without a doubt. Right, where were we? Let's come back across. So our next meditation is 2 hours 52. Great. So we've got about half an hour-ish, something like that. Okay. In the morning, on Cratius' signal, the captain of the guard freed him from his chains, and the very next day the 5 other priests, along with the pharaoh, were invited to his observation platform. Cratius began his speech before the gathering as follows. What you are about to hear must not be noted down or passed along by any of you. There are no walls around us, and my words will be heard by no one but you. I have thought up a way of turning all people living on the earth into slaves of our Pharaoh. That is not something one can do even with the aid of vast numbers of troops and exhausting wars, but I shall accomplish it with a few simple sentences. All I need to do is utter them, and just 2 days later you will see how the world has begun to change. Take a look down there, and you will see long lines of slaves in chains, each slave carrying a stone. They are guarded by a host of soldiers. The more slaves there are, the better for the state, or so we always thought. But the more slaves there are, the more we have to be afraid of their rebelling. So we increase the size of our guard. We are obliged to feed our slaves well, otherwise they will not be able to perform their heavy manual labour. But still, they are lazy and inclined to rebellion. Crazy. See how slowly they move? And the guards have become lazy and do not bother using their whips to beat even the strongest and healthiest slaves. They will soon be moving much more quickly. They won't need any guards. The guards themselves will be turned into slaves. This can be effected in the following way. Are you ready for this? So this is very powerful, guys. Very interesting. Before sunset today, heralds will be sent out everywhere to proclaim the Pharaoh's decree. With the dawn of the new day, all slaves will be granted complete freedom. For each stone brought to the city, the free men will receive 1 coin. Yes? The coins may be exchanged for food, clothing, housing, a palace in town, or even a whole town. From here on in, you are free people. After the priests had let Cratius' words sink in, one of them, the eldest, said, "You are a demon, Cratius. The demonry resulting from your plan will cover most of the nations of the world. So, I may indeed be a demon, and what I have thought up people in the future may call democracy." Yikes. You hear that? Democracy. Demoncracy. Yes? Very interesting. And again, look, parable, guys. Play on words. I like this because it really does ring true for a lot of what's happening in the world. But as usual, see how you feel. See how you feel. At sunset, the decree was proclaimed to the slaves. They were astounded. Many of them could not sleep at night thinking about the new and happy life that lay ahead of them. The next morning, the priests and the pharaoh once again climbed up to the lookout platform atop the artificial mountain. They could not believe the scene unfolding before their eyes. Thousands of former slaves chasing one after the other, hauling the same stones as before, dripping with sweat, many of them carrying 2 stones apiece. Others, with only 1 stone in their hand, were literally running, kicking up dust as they ran. Some of the guards were also hauling stones. These people, who now considered themselves free, after all, they were no longer in chains, strove to obtain as many of the sought-after coins as they could, so that they could build a happy life for themselves. Cratius remained at his post on the platform for several months after that, continuing to observe with satisfaction what was going on below. The transformation was colossal. Some of the slaves had organised themselves into groups and built themselves carts. They then piled stones on top of the carts and pushed them along, their skin covered in sweat. They will invent many more devices, Cratius thought to himself with satisfaction. Internal services are already started, food and water delivery. Some slaves have been eating right on the go, not wanting to waste time going back to the barracks for a meal and paying for the food delivery with the coins they've earned. Wow! They've also got doctors going around offering help to people with physical needs right on the spot, also for coins. Soon, and they've appointed themselves traffic regulators. Soon they'll be choosing their own rulers and judges. Let them choose. After all, they consider themselves free now, whereas nothing has really changed. They're still hauling the same stones as before. And so, they have been running down through the millennia, right up to the present day, through the dust, sweating to carry the heavy stones, and today the descendants of those slaves still keep up their senseless running. Wow. Isn't that nuts? Now you understand why I resonate with these books. If it's nonsense, if it never happened, if it's missing details, if it's missing facts, what does it matter? Does this not ring true to you? Does this not feel like the way modern society is? How do we do it? The people take off the blinkers, we take off the blindfold, we take off the illusion, we look to the priests and we say, enough. Yeah, we look to the priests and we say, enough. That is how we start to unite together. Because, and again, so what is this? Often you don't hear anything in here about the Great Global Garden. You don't hear anything in here about the Garden of Eden. So the illusion had already been placed upon the people. We'd already forgotten who we are. We'd already forgotten what our power is and what our birthright is and what is here for us. You know, we're carrying stones. You know, our conquerors murdered their way and took us as slaves. Yes, so we have to... What do we have to do? We have to unite together. And this time not be distracted. That's the point. Rebellion comes when you can unite together and overthrow those who are of small number, but you're not distracted by another shiny object. Yes, AI, the digital currency stuff, the Bitcoin, you know, these were all distractions. Again, here's another way to become wealthy. Here's another way to... No. The wealth is in the roots, it is in the leaves, it is in the shoots, it is in the nuts, it is in the berries. It is in watching your children run through your forest garden, being able to feel completely at peace and free. It is living on a planet where people are adhering to the highest levels of goodness and decency and kindness and compassion. It is where people are resonating, vibrating, emanating a level of consciousness that is self-responsible. Okay? A level of consciousness that is self-responsible. I don't even want to kill the spider by direct effect. You know, having that level of consciousnness, you know, all right, sometimes things are avoidable. Horsefly bites you. It's made its own fate. You know, but it's about living in harmony with nature. So this right here is a very fascinating parable, and this is why I tip my hat to Anastasia. There are two other parables that I'm going to share with you next week. There is the parable of the prisoners, in that one brought me to tears. That one brought me to tears. When I first read that one, I cried. And the second one is the trillionaire, the priest who has a change of heart and helps everybody get back onto the land. So there is one important point in this parable that I want you all to meditate upon, to contemplate. There is one important point, and the important point is that when we start to activate our thinking faculties, when we practice our thought, when we do what he did, and you go so deep into the meditative, the flow state, the contemplative place, you will be delivered with solutions to your situations and your problems that are outstanding. That is manifestation, right? Manifestation is the ability to think a solution, Yes, it is Lenny. You're absolutely right. So don't forget, guys, Lenny has done a fantastic job of doing audiobooks on his YouTube channel. Highly recommend you going over to check those out, of the Anastasia books. So what we read here, Lenny has been reading out the books on his YouTube channel. He's doing a tremendous service. So very grateful to you, Lenny, and what you're doing. And grateful for you to come back, my friend. I'm sorry that I didn't say that sooner. You know, I'm keeping up with all the faculties of my own brain. So yes. From the Glade 8 is Lenny, fantastic guy, doing amazing stuff. So, yeah. Soul Coach Suzanne says, the census running, oh my God, we forgot our power, but no more. We are taking everything back. Absolutely. You know, and the reclamation is the non-participation. That's what we have to get across to the people, and that will come in thought. You know, even me at the minute, I don't have enough time thinking. I have to meditate morning and evening, you know, because this is so much time and effort. I'm doing a six-person job. You know, it's so much time and effort. I need to give that back so that I can think more, because the more that we think, the more the solutions come forward, and the more energy I have to be able to present this appropriately. So yeah, absolutely, Lenny, they are immensely powerful books, immensely powerful. Suzanne says, I do too. I lost my mother in 2019 and my father when I was 10 years old. Oh, bless you. Which was why I was so concerned about. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very, very much. I send you my love very, very dearly. And with Suzanne as well. I might have missed another comment. So, oh, Suzanne, I see it. I'm grateful to have. Oh, I see, Suzanne. Sorry I missed that. And I wish my mum was to bless you. Well. And my mum, I know my mum feels the same way. And I know my mum is with my mum, and I have no doubt that your mum is with you too. So I love you both very much. Yeah, bless you. Sorry, guys, I missed that. Love you all very dearly. Katie, finally, something that makes sense about manifesting. Yeah, oh, wonderful. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Katie. That's a very wonderful thing to say. Carnegie, great to be here from New Zealand. Corin, lovely, Corin. Thank you so much. And for coming back. That's wonderful. And Katie, thank you for being here. Very kind of you. Yeah, so that's a very interesting concept, you know, that ability to go within. And like we saw with the toroidal field, these sages, these men and women who went into the forest, what did that do? It gave them time to contemplate and think to the highest level, to break free of the illusion, to take the veil off. When you take the veil off, you give yourself every opportunity to find the answers, and then a lot of those answers were delivered to the world. So, okay, got about 18 minutes or so. Let's just come back. Let me check where we were. Yep. Okay, coming back here. So we'll come back over to the slides, guys. Oh, Gail says, I love being read to. Thanks for the tree. Oh, that's a pleasure. That's really amazing. Well, thank you for that. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I like doing it. And it's a lot, you know, it's really powerful, isn't it? Oh, it's really powerful because that parable really moved me. You know, it really made a lot of sense. You know, it's what's happening. And Lydia, thank you so much for the $20 donation. That's very kind of you. So generous. Keep effing going, James. I'm enjoying class today. That's very kind of you, Lydia. Thank you. Really, really sweet. You know, thank you for the wonderful generosity. That helps me tremendously. You know, you've all been very generous today with your time, with your words, with your finances. Very sweet of you. Thank you so much. Very, very kind. Very kind. Thanks for the support. So, right, okay. Whoopsie. Hold on a second. There we go. All right, so let's come back to our slides. There is a possibility that we don't have as many as I wanted today, but we'll see. We'll get through it. So another concept I wanted to sort of bring forward is the idea of our lost playground. Now, if it's true that even before the materialization of the concept of the priest, if it's true that even before then, you know, because we had to get to the point of priests and pharaohs, which meant that monarchy and rule and indoctrination was already happening, that means there has to have been a point where the playground that we all had to experience life was lost. Right, the Garden of Eden, this idea of the Garden of Eden. So I wanted to bring to your attention something I know you'll resonate with, and that's Avatar. All right, this probably comes from the video game actually, but I couldn't find many HD examples. But the movie Avatar, most people, when that film came out, they explained that they went back 2 or 3 times to watch it because it just called to their soul. You know, it called to their hearts, it called to their soul. They felt at one, it made sense to them. You know, living this land, this world, you know, they wanted to go to Pandora. They felt like it was where they belong, right? I believe that James Cameron, as much as I think he's either been infiltrated or whatever, I believe that this dream he had with Pandora was really something. I think it was very powerful. You know, this idea of a really miraculous planet, and it's our planet. This is our planet. We just haven't seen it yet. And remember Victor Schauberger, right? Victor Schauberger said that he recognised that there was a gravitational effect in the water currents in these untouched forests. Are floating mountains completely out of the way? Yeah. Are they so far-fetched? Maybe. Maybe I'm being a bit far out here, but maybe it's not so hard to believe. The idea of you know, magnetic fields, we've got the aurora borealis, we've got the magnetic poles, you know, it's not exactly like these concepts are totally alien. We might not see them, but they're not totally alien. So I want to ask you, what does this image invoke in you? I hope it's not AI, it probably is. Sorry guys, with the AI images, Canva, I take images from Canva, the image section. I think some of them are. Doing my best, guys. Hopefully one day we can, you know, get artists and things, but that's probably further in the future. So, at the very least, what does this image invoke in you? You know? Watching the Avatar films, this wonderful bioluminescence, this idea that everything is connected, that Awa is real. You know, that they can connect with our ancestors, which we can, right? We can connect with our ancestors all through. That's a bit blurry, sorry guys. But look at it, look, these beautiful, beautiful ideas. The tree of Awa, the tree of life, right? We have that. You know, the fact that you can... This is what the mycelial networks are. If we restore the Great Global Garden, not an if, but a when. I say if as in a point of philosophy, but when we restore the Great Global Garden, what will happen? Yeah? We're only looking at the world through the lens of our experience. But what happens when the world is recovered? How much of the magic comes back? How much of the beauty comes back? You know, when there are 500 flowers growing in your forest garden, or when there's 1,000 flowers or 5,000 flowers growing in your forest garden, when the trees are fully connected, when they're not disturbed. That's interesting. Big gust of wind then. Curious. What happens, guys? And then here in, you know, we have that in our world. I can't remember where this is, which is, again, awful. Sorry, guys. But the bioluminescence of these waters, right? This absolutely. David Coron says the water of life is structured water. Absolutely, my friend, without a doubt. And this is why when nature has its toroidal paths through streams and rivers and tree roots, and it goes through rock and it structures the water. You've got Victor Schauberger, you've got the individuals who are doing the structured water stuff. Biodynamics uses those principles. You know, when you are able, having certain minerals like copper in it. I have a copper bottle. Mother, I still haven't told you about that. Sorry for that. But I have a copper bottle that I found on the floor. So get this, I have to look into your eyeballs when I say this. I was out with Annie in Devon, and somebody had dropped a copper bottle. Nobody was around. You know, nobody was around. So I just took this inclination. It was dented, so I thought that they might have just chucked it out. And I've still got it. I use it every day. I use that copper water bottle every day, so I have copper water every day. Right? So, again, structured water, as David has said, is very powerful. Very, very powerful. That's life-giving water. And this is why also fruit juice... Ready for this? Fruit juice is H3O, so they say. I actually need to look into that. I should write that down. That's a good topic for next week. So I've come to understand through the juice cleanses that I've done that fruit juice is H3O. It is a more complete molecular structure than water, so it hydrates you to a higher level. All right? Hydrates you to a higher level. Asana, everything is alive. We can restore what they are trying to destroy. We have the power to do this as one person as well as a community, absolutely. Victoria says, I loved the first Avatar movie almost as much as The Matrix, which just made sense to me on so many levels, absolutely. Fresh fruit juice, not the store junk, absolutely. I have a juicer, hello darling. I have a juicer and I do my own melon and pineapple and, you know, if and when I can do it, orange juice. Orange juice is just, mwah, chef's kiss, it's the best in the world. You right, sweetheart, you hungry? Hey, you being neglected, are you? Sorry, Vinny. I will feed you. I'm sure you've been eating some mice out there. Absolutely, Bradine. Bradine says, oh, we are all already so connected, we just need to remember. Yep, Deborah says absolutely, without a doubt. Good find, copper rocks, yeah. H3O, I heard Guru Pachupati talk about that this week. Interesting. Well, I know for a fact, I did 21 days just fruit juice. It works. I'm the living proof. I've done it. It works. Soul Coach Suzanne says, thank you so much, Thomas. This means so much to me. You're so kind, caring, and generous here in the chat. As sad as I am about David, I am relieved for him that this sweet family developed. Absolutely. You know, and there's no doubt that he's not watching this from one way or another, here or there. He's definitely watching this, guys. He's with us. He's passed on the torch. Okay. What time is it? 2:33. Oopsie. Wrong button. There we go. So again, we have this. You know, there are oceans with this bioluminescence. So what I wanted to do now is just okay. Okay, I must have done these slides. I forgot. I thought it was a different slide, but that's fine. Let's keep going. So my question: what if the Earth was an impeccably safe place for man, woman, and child? What if we wanted for nothing and had access to everything? We have touched on this slightly. Through the help of these data, I don't know what I'm talking about there. What am I saying there? Through the help of this, the seed iron knows the exact... Okay, we're just going to ignore that. When it's to come alive and grow and juice. Oh, I know what it's done. Oh, James. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, Vinny, you going out? Go on in. Go on in, darling. Go. This slide is wrong. Apologies. So the idea is that we know when seeds and fruit comes alive, what juices it is. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to move on. How to make use of the sun's ray. Did I just... It's from the Anastasia. One sec, guys. Technical difficulties. It's David. It's David, I promise. It's probably not. It's probably just me. One sec. I must have forgotten to edit this one. I did. All right, I'll sort that one out next week. The premise is that what she was talking about there in the Anastasia book, that's where it was. I was gonna continue that and I forgot. In the Anastasia book, the idea was that, again, when you take that fruit off the tree and you eat it while it's alive, while it's living, it's a very different experience. So now we're going to explore that seed planting under the tongue, and we'll hear what Anastasia has to say. Every seed you plant contains within itself an enormous amount of information about the universe. So this is from the Anastasia book 1. Nothing made by human hands, and it's not just Anastasia book 1, it's the exact page. I should tell you that, guys, just in case. The exact page is 64 and 65. I'll put that on the slides next time we do something to do with Anastasia. Nothing made by human hands can compare with this information either in size or accuracy. Through the help of this data, the seed knows the exact time down to the millisecond when it is to come alive, grow, what juices it is to take from the earth, how to make use of the rays of the celestial bodies, the sun, moon, and stars, and what it is to grow into, what fruit to bring forth. These fruits are designed to sustain man and woman's life. More powerfully and effectively than any manufactured drug of the present or future, these fruits are capable of counteracting and withstanding any disease of the human body. Now, this is very interesting. This mimics what I was sharing with the idea of the pristine fruits and vegetables. You know, they have that life force in them that our entire bodies are nourished on the highest levels. But to this end, the seed must know about the human condition. so that during the maturation process it can satiate its fruit with the right correlation of substances to heal a specific individual of his disease or her disease, if indeed he or her has it or is prone to it. In order for the seed of a cucumber, tomato, or any other plant grown in one's plot to have such information, the following steps are necessary. So this is the seed planting under the tongue. Not scientifically proven, apparently. I thought there was a paper on it. They might have suppressed it and I can't find it. I will look for it. But anyway, before planting, put into your mouth 1 or more little seeds. Hold them in your mouth under the tongue for at least 9 minutes. Then place the seeds between the palms of your hand and hold it there for about 30 seconds. During this time, it is important that you be standing barefoot on the spot of earth where you will later be planting it. Open your hands and carefully raise the seed which you are holding to your mouth. Then blow on it lightly, warming it with your breath, and the wee little seed will know everything that is within you. Then you need to hold it with your hands, open another 30 seconds, presenting the seed to the celestial bodies. The seed will determine the moment of its awakening, the planets will all help it, and will give the sprouts the light they need to produce fruit especially for you. After that, you may plant the seed in the ground. In no case should you water it right off, so as not to wash away the saliva which is now covering it, along with other information about you that the seed will take in. It can be watered 3 days after planting. The planting must be done on days appropriate to each vegetable. People already know this from the lunar calendar. In the absence of watering, a premature planting is not as harmful as an overdue planting. It is not a good idea to pull up all the weeds growing in the vicinity of the sprouts. At least one of each kind should be left in place. The weeds can be cut back. That's companion planting or guilds or polycultures, known in modern times. According to Anastasia, the seed is thus able to take in information about the person who plants it, and then during the cultivation of its fruit it will pick up from the universe and the earth the optimum blend of energies needed for a given man. The weeds should not be disposed of completely, as they have their own appointed function. Some weeds serve to protect the plant from disease, while others give supplemental information. The most important question to ask now is, where is the scientific proof? James. So, obviously, before we just go into that, one of the things is that I don't seem to be able to find the science paper that was involved. Okay. However, all those instructions, very seemingly fantastical in a way, 9 minutes, 30 seconds, show it to the stars, blow on it, seems involved. How can you do that with 1,500 seeds if you're growing vegetables and trees and plants? It's not possible. But, just entertaining the idea, it's interesting. To place seeds under your tongue, even if you don't do the rest of it, and have your saliva soak into that seed, is there an effect? Well, apparently, science doesn't prove it, but there is something. So the most important question to ask now is, where is the scientific proof? So there is something called horizontal gene transfer. Horizontal gene transfer, HGT, or lateral gene transfer, is the non-sexual movement of genetic material between organisms of the same or different species. Unlike vertical gene transfer, passing genes from parent to offspring, or intimacy, HGT allows organisms to instantly acquire and utilize entirely new traits from their environment or peers. Hello? No scientific proof. It's debunked. Google and all the cabal are like, we're not going to bring any... Does this not sound like the similar idea? Horizontal gene transfer? Yeah? Alright, maybe some people... this process is a major driving force in evolution and adaptation, particularly for microorganisms, and is categorized into 3 primary mechanisms. Oopsie. Did I do this bit? Oh, I didn't. Sorry, guys. So I didn't go further with that bit. But, again, so there's no scientific proof in quotes. Right, okay. But there is horizontal gene transfer. Now, plants already demonstrate, from what I believe, the the horizontal gene transfer because, again, we have this idea of the mycelial networks with the trees passing hormones to one another. Okay, they pass hormones, they pass nutrients, they pass sugars, all kinds of things between the mycelial networks. I need to do a bit more research on this, so I will say this, but do your own research. So I'm pretty sure that horizontal gene transfer between the roots is, again, it's that idea of passing those hormones, so it's in the plant kingdom. If it's in the plant kingdom with the mycelial networks, and we apparently hold 98% of our DNA with the mycelial mushroom networks, then if that's true and 98% of us is connected with the mycelial networks, you've got AWA in Avatar, where you've got the connection. When you connect, you can tap into the other world. Then is it so far-fetched that seeds could pull in the DNA of people? Maybe there needs to be scientific studies on it. I'm certain there already was. Maybe they've been suppressed. Well, they ain't going to stop it. Because the whole point is that if you were to plant an apple tree, or a more perennial vegetable, if you were to plant a cucumber and have the seed under your tongue, then if you're deficient in B12 or vitamin E or vitamin A or vitamin K, or you need or iodine, then there's a chance that vegetable will pull that nutrients from the soil into its makeup and will offer that nutrients to you. Okay, so it's very interesting. Victoria says, what do you do with the plants for the winter then? Just leave them, cover them, cool them, things like herbs and vegetables. I don't know what to do with them when it starts to get cold. Well, that's obviously where canning and preserving comes in. So there are certain vegetables and fruits and berries that can go further into winter, but most of the time that's where the preservation is. So there is certain preservation. Anastasia will say herself, during winter she wants to be less active, so would be eating less. But you can store a lot of food throughout winter, so there is that process too. That's what you've got. So the idea is that you have got a season through most of the year. Asna says, Victoria, some plants only have a single season, and some are intentionally left because they will return the next season. Absolutely. So you've got annuals, you've got biannuals, you've got perennials. Okay, so and then obviously you've got your trees and your shrubs which continue to grow. They just continue to grow non-stop. So some of them you replace, some of them you'll leave to go to seed, like alliums, if I'm not mistaken. Again, doing the Great Global Garden, but I haven't had a chance to have a forest garden and a vegetable patch because we didn't stay on the land for very long. But most people with either carrots or alliums, they'll leave because they're biannual. They'll leave them for the second year to go to seed, and then they've got the seeds. Okay, so there's ways of doing it. To keep it going. All right, guys. Well, if you're ready, because we always like to do our last little bit of the meditation. Time's definitely slowed down. Absolutely. This is fascinating. Maybe there is something with the CERN thing then. What were they doing, eh? Excuse me, what were they doing? Putting life on a YouTube speed of 2. Alright. Give me 1 second. So guys, take a nice deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just relax. Bless you, Victoria. The green is in your heart, my dear. So you give yourself all the time and patience, and you'll learn it all perfectly. I promise you that. I promise you that. You are at one with nature, and it's all just a learning curve. That's it. Same with me. Same with me. Absolutely, Mama. Root cellars, imagine what you can store. Absolutely. And remember that cucumber, right? So the cucumber that was left in a warm environment because it was grown in a pristine way, it stitched itself back together. It lasted weeks. I really want to speak to Robert about that. Amazing thing. I need more information on that. Relax. Bring yourself into the present moment. So again, take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, just let go. Okay then, guys. So we're bringing ourselves into the present moment. So this is our collective meditation for global peace. It would be wonderful for as many people as possible to embody that presence and peacefulness, that kindness and humility, that fortitude, that temperance, that authenticity. In so doing, we are able to curate and nurture a wonderful environment of love. We are able to create a space of love that nurtures ourselves and our children. In so doing, we create a space of peace for nature. We give it more breathing room. We give ourselves more breathing room. So I'd like you to imagine waking up in your domain. The window is open. The wind is blowing in the trees. You can hear the chirping of the birds and the subtle scent of roses outside your window. As you go downstairs or walk over to your front door and open the door, you're greeted with this gorgeous view of green trees and flowers and rich coloured vegetables. Just an explosion of colours and scents and sights. Butterflies flying around, insects working in perfect harmony. Hundreds of bees all over your acres and your land. It's quiet. You can hear the soft wind on the leaves of the trees, blowing through the flowers. You take a nice deep breath in, and you let it out with a sigh. Just sat there in awe of the wondrous beauty in front of you. And as you are fully present, you are able to think and contemplate upon the universe, the nature of our world. You're able to create your own species of plant through thought. Who knows? You walk through your door knowing that the world is peaceful and quiet. The screaming has stopped. The pain and suffering has stopped. People are no longer unconscious. They are fully present and aware of who and what they are. people are thinking about creating children and life, and then they're able to experience it beautifully. And the village is looking after the children, not just the parents, because mothers and fathers also need time, space, and thought. Everything is working in harmony and balance. The infrastructure of our self-maintaining perfect system is here greeting us every morning. Your neighbours are free of pain and suffering, and so therefore can be better versions of themselves. People are healed and trauma has gone. We've woken up to the density of the world, and we've become grounded, happy and present, balanced. The great global garden has accomplished its mission. All is restored into balance. All of wildlife is working in harmony. People are embodying more and more love, more and more kindness, more and more joy. People can create, expand, explore, do wonderful things, abilities awakened. Photographic memory, intelligence in areas that we didn't know we had. And it's just wonderful, through and through. I'll leave you with that vision for a moment, to say a little prayer and focus your present attention in your heart on that beautiful vision. Denacho Wio, Great Spirit, it is said and it is good. Namaste and Amen. Okay guys, when you're ready, please feel free to come back in your own time. May it be, Sans. Absolutely, Mama. I'm going to send you all my love with that vision, that meditation. Nothing and no one can take it away from us. Absolutely, Pristine. That's something David said a lot. David said that a lot in his lives. Absolutely. Teresa, it's beautiful to watch the confidence blossom and the joy appear when people see what they can do. Absolutely, I agree with you. Anika, a beautiful vision. I could see it so clearly, so many colours and nice. We have a honeysuckle at the bottom of the garden, and it is just outstanding. If those of you who don't know what a honeysuckle is, you know, at some point try to Google it and see. They are incredible. You know, just the scent that wafts over. We can be sat, and it's thick. It's a thick, flowery scent. It's incredible, and eating them is very nice. Although I'm leaving most of them for the bees now. I'm not in the end because they need as much help as they can get, which is a real shame. That's the disconnect. You know, the disconnect is that, you know, then you have to, like, foraging becomes a little bit more tricky in certain areas. Some areas they're just a colossal abundance, but you know, other areas they're not. So you got to leave things. It's very, very sad. Patrick, so much love for you, and oh, bless you, my friend. I appreciate that very much, and thank you for being here. I don't know if I saw your comment earlier, so pleasure for you to be here, my friend. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Lenny says, I love honeysuckle. We had it growing in our garden when I was a kid. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. And we had, at the farm I was at, they were growing peonies. Oh my goodness. Any of you come across peonies? The big, massive peonies, like this big, you know, and I dehydrated a load of the petals and things like that, and I was sticking them in, was I eating those or the rose petals? A lot of the rose petals I'll stick in my drinks and stuff, because it's just really lovely. Nice little scent. Some of them are very sweet. So it's just, it's always funny. Anyway, yeah, it's fine. I had a scratch and sniff picture book of the country mouse and the town mouse, and one of the scents was honeysuckle. Oh, amazing, my friend. Very cool. Asa says, and hummingbirds too. Yeah, absolutely. Honeysuckle is wonderful, without a doubt. Anika, and hummingbirds love honeysuckles. Yes, they do. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's powerful to, when we got our forest gardens, there's a much more harmonious relationship. But I've left the wild strawberries now. I haven't had any more because I want to leave them for wildlife, even if they drop and go straight into the ground. But stinging nettles will be available in about a month, according to Craig. So I'll harvest a load of the nettle seeds because the nettle seeds are so densely nutritious. Mum, I didn't manage to tell you. Craig said to me that's a bit early for nettle seeds, so we'll have to do it a bit later on. Yes, it is, Mum. And we had a honeysuckle at our old home. We did indeed. Andromeda, anyone still processing and eating? Oh my goodness. Andromeda says, anyone still processing and eating acorns? That is, our friend is writing a book on that. So he has made a cake type recipe with acorns, and it's just out of this world. I've seen videos. Acorns are one of the most nutritionally dense forageable materials, and apparently he told me this amazing fact. There's a state in America, and they are basically 85% oak trees or something like that, and apparently just harvesting 35% of them would be enough to cover their entire flower needs of the whole state. That's just from acorns, and acorns are nutritionally much more powerful than anything else, and he does amazing stuff. So you have to leach the tannins, so you do have to leach the tannins out of acorns, but once you have, they're incredible. So yeah, very amazing comment there, Andromeda, without a doubt. All right, guys, so we're coming into the last legs of our live. So our last live will be how long was it off for? Thank goodness for that. That was good. Suzanne, you absolutely nailed that one. That was very quick. Thank you to all of you. Andromeda, Asana, Mummy, Tammy, Victoria, Gail, Bradine, Lenny. That was very close. So you caught that very quick, Suzanne. That was immediate. Hopefully we're fully back now. Oh, 2 minutes. Oh, no, that's a shame. Anyway, I was just talking about the breastfeeding side of things. 1 minute. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. So the whole idea that how powerful it is, a woman having that connection with her child, and then the child will give signals as to what it needs, the mother's body will provide it. Again, it's that I'm not sure whether I'm assuming that is also the horizontal gene transfer, although I need to do a bit more research, so a little bit weaker on that one, guys. Oh, bless you, Suzanne. That's very sweet. Well, thank you, you did a great job there. That was a good catch. So a couple of last things I wanted to share with you guys. Very powerful. So these are examples of nature's intelligence, right? So a lot of people think that nature is a little bit, not saying you guys, I'm saying out there in the world, a lot of people think that nature is static. It's not, it doesn't have a sentience, and we're here to say that it definitely does. So one of the most powerful things is the painted lady butterfly. Oh, so this is to do with the Nep estate, the rewilding. It's from a source called Meadowmania. You can go and check that for yourself. It's funny because no, we didn't. It was a different butterfly. We had a butterfly flying around us yesterday, which was really, really nice. Oh, bless you guys. Sorry. Glad we're back now. Appreciate you all very much. By 2009, 8 years into the rewilding project with the Nep estate, deep thickets of metre-high creeping thistle had covered huge areas of the estate, posing a serious threat to their funding. While deliberating over how to deal with this invasion, nature sent a solution: the painted lady butterfly. Over 11 million of them. This species of butterfly migrates from North Africa every year, but in 2009 they arrived in the UK in bumper numbers. Thousands descended upon Nep to feed on a variety of flowers and to lay their eggs on the creeping thistles whose leaves would be food for the caterpillars. By autumn, after the caterpillars had eaten, pupated, and left, the creeping thistles were left in shreds, and by the following year had disappeared. This to me is a massive realization. This shows that, by intention and patience, we can see how the intelligence of nature will solve the problems and issues that we have all by itself. All we need to do is be patient and calm and call upon the power of nature. Isn't that nuts? Right? They had a problem. They were talking about doing a method through poisoning. They decided to hold off, and nature solved their problem for them. Another example of nature's premise to do all of the work. You know? Aston says, even the old wet nurses that used to nurse babies have their milk that evolve to the needs of all the children on the earth. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing that. It makes a lot of sense. So we're miraculous. Nature, human beings, intertwined as one, we are miraculous. Really are. A little bite of an apple just helps my mouth. All right. Another example, the Yellowstone wolves and the rivers. So this is YellowstonePark.com. When the grey wolf was reintroduced to the greater Yellowstone ecosystem in 1995, there was only one beaver colony in the park, said Doug Smith, a wildlife biologist in charge of the Yellowstone Wolf Project. That's wonderful, Mama. We have so many butterflies and bees flying around in our garden. I sit among the plants every morning and in thought, and they are just... That's lovely. Love it. Beautiful, Mum. Sands Motel. I just watched a butterfly come out of a cocoon today on my property. I had never seen anything like it before. I took a video, but I'd love to see that. If you can message me, I'd love to see those videos and those pictures. That's wonderful. Are you part of the Great Global Garden on Facebook, the Facebook group? That'd be an amazing post. If any of you have any videos or pictures of nature, please post those in the Great Global Garden. That would be amazing, because I'm trying to really put that forward. Weird, the mute just came through. Yeah, I muted it while I was eating my apple. I didn't want to. I didn't want to let you guys hear me munching on an apple. Today, the park is home to 9 beaver colonies, with the promise of more to come, as the reintroduction of wolves continues to astonish biologists, I don't know why, with a ripple of direct and indirect consequences throughout the ecosystems. I mean, okay, fair enough, but I mean, I suppose some of it is fairly obvious when you think about it. Our ancestors knew this stuff. Even though Yellowstone elk were still preyed upon by black and grizzly bears, cougars, and to a lesser extent coyotes, the absence of wolves took a huge amount of predatory pressure off the elk, said Smith. As a result, elk populations did very well, perhaps too well. 2 things happened. The elk pushed the limits of Yellowstone's carrying capacity, and they didn't move around much in the winter, browsing heavily on young willow, aspen, and cottonwood plants. That was tough for beaver, who need willows to survive in winter. Healthier willow stands in Yellowstone created a counterintuitive situation. Back in 1968, said Smith, where the elk population was about 1/3 of what it is today, the willow stands along streams were in bad shape. Today, with 3 times as many elk, willow stands are robust. Why? Because the predatory pressure from wolves keeps elk on the move, so they don't have time to intensely browse the willow. Healthier willow stands in Yellowstone. That's a mistype. Indeed, a research project headed by the US Geology Survey in Fort Collins found that the combination of intense elk browsing on willows and simulated beaver cuttings produced stunted willow stands. Conversely, simulated beaver cutting without elk browsing produced verdant, healthy stands of willow. In the 3-year experiment, willow stem biomass was 10 times greater on unbrowsed plants than on browsed plants. Unbrowsed plants recovered 84% of their pre-cut biomass after only 2 growing seasons, whereas browsed plants recovered only 6%. The final conclusion here is that our ecosystems have, oh wait for it, a system. Humanity keeps trying to intervene in this system, and so therefore we never end up seeing the true potential benefits of the system. I'm going to say that again. Humanity keeps trying to intervene in this system, and so therefore we never end up seeing the true potential benefits of such a system. Okay, so this is really powerful stuff, guys. It's very powerful. It's about understanding that ecosystems in our world are trying to acquire balance, but we keep interfering. Industrial agriculture, just on every level, we're interfering. Not us. We wouldn't choose to do that. Massive corporations and, unfortunately, farmers that aren't fully aware are doing this. So, Asana, years ago they tried to kill off the beavers. Oh, incredible. Thinking that they were ruining the rivers that they naturally flow. Isn't that mental? However, they found that moving them or killing them affected the natural ecology negatively, so they reintroduced them, and everything within 5 years were back to normal. Exactly, and it's just mental. You know, and people said about, sorry, excuse me, that was Apple. Sorry, guys. People said about it's gone out of my mind. It's gone out of my mind. Sorry, guys. And they are always so shocked when nature does what nature does and things get better. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Sounds Motel says, I will try, James. I'm not very good at the tech stuff. I'm kind of a dinosaur. Look, I can't make a Rick and Morty joke because that's silly. They were very intelligent dinosaurs in Rick and Morty, all right? Oh, bless you, Suzanne. I'm not on Facebook. Well, I mean, I could... Oh, well, it's up to you. I mean, it's up to you guys. If you can't, that's totally fine. No worries at all. No worries at all. Jay Parsons, got to run, work again. Thanks, James. No worries, my friend. We're nearly finished anyway. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you. See you next Sunday. Have a lovely week, my friend. You know, I hope it's all fruitful. Lovely things happen to you, and you take care. Lol, Rick. Yeah, Rick and Morty's a tricky one. I really enjoyed it, and still do watch the new ones, but it's a little bit dodgy, and its birthing is a bit dodgy. So the series itself is a bit dodgy, but you know, we all have our little nerdy things probably somewhere. So last little bit here, beavers, waterway engineers. Oh, hold on. Oh, whoopsie. That's it. Yep, sorry, that's it. We've talked about the beavers. We're done with the beavers. All right, guys. Well, 15 minutes. So what we could do is we'll do David's meditation now. So we'll do it now, and then we'll just do our conclusions and our goodbyes. I'll let you know a little bit again about what's happening this week. I'll get my slides ready. I scheduled this a lot later than usual. I got so distracted. I'll try and schedule my live tomorrow straight away. I'll go to the gym in the morning, give a bit of me time. And then after that, we'll be ready. Do a few posts and get things out there. So, right, guys, if you're ready, let's go over to David's live again. So we'll come back, go back into the meditation, if you're okay with that. Oh, that's weird. How long ago was he doing this live? He's talking about Palantir. How old is this one? Oh, come on. Sorry, guys, bear with me just 1 second. Man, Palantir's been around a year. That's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Where is it? There we go. Gotcha. Alright, guys. So let's come over. Full monitor. Headphones. Take a nice deep breath in, guys. And as you breathe out, just relax.
time for us, and we can all do this together. So here we go, folks. Thank you for being here today. Let's now close your eyes, put both feet flat on the floor. It's so exciting, isn't it? Just breathe and relax. Let yourself feel all of these waves of relaxation coming through. Seeing the perfection of the plan that is now coming into view. The glory of what is coming our way. A true quantum leap of humanity into freedom that we've never had before. Think about the time loop and how some of us will be able to levitate huge blocks of stone and make our own Stonehenges. How exciting is that? The potential that we are facing with this ascension is truly beyond imagination. It all comes from seeking that forgiveness of self and others, learning to go deep within the heart, deep within the mind, and find those marbled corridor passageways, bringing us to the core of who and what we truly are. Hearing the echoing sounds of our footsteps as we walk through these marbled hallways. Learning once again that we have always been protected, these higher beings do exist, keeping us safe, a non-catastrophic, amazing ascension process. We know about the science. We saw the wonderful Wicker Man crop circle, solar flash crop circle with the sun in the middle again showed up today. So amazing that that happened right during the show. We were able to work it right in. Having so much gratitude for what it is that's about to happen, the solar flash dream that I had right after, or right before I saw the Matrix. All of this is connecting in such a beautiful way. It doesn't even seem possible. These goals seem so far out of reach. Will they ever actually do it? Well, all the signs are lining up very nicely. People are now demanding the release of this sequestered information, and we have every reason to believe that, yes, something really big is coming our way. And so we thank you, Archangel Michael. We thank you, Logoic Jesus Christ. We thank you for all that you've done to bring us peace, safety, and security. We surround the Alliance with our prayers, our love, and light. And we always remember that we are the light. We are the love. We are the one infinite creator. And this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And nothing and no one can ever take that from us. And so it is. In the name of Jesus Christ, we do pray. Adonai and Amen. Thank you. Woo! All right, let's get my head back in there. I'm going to have to deal with this fly, but I didn't want to kill the fly on the air. Enjoy your barbecue with guests today. Enjoy sunset. I don't know if I'm going to barbecue, but thank you for that. Yeah, it's been a great show. And we're about to hit the 4 hour and 15 minute mark, which is perfect timing.
Yeah, that is a really so Suzanne, Susanna Shaughnessy, if you're still here, take care. Sorry, I missed you. We were getting into the live. Love you lots. See you here next Sunday. Yeah, that's a very important comment. Where is it? You're right, Soul Coach Suzanne. Yeah, you know, this is you could see the decline when David got thinner and he more worries and more difficulties and more tricky things. It's you know, it was really because obviously over the weeks we've gone backwards and forwards over some of David's older lives, some of the lives that he did previously, and you can see when he was in better spirits. You know, it's very disheartening. It's very upsetting. But you know, all we can know is that everything he was talking about is the Great Global Garden. Everything he's talking about was the restoration of our world. It was the uniting of the people. It was the coming forwards. That's interesting. I feel very drawn to this book for some reason. Golden Harvest. White Eagle book this is. Huh. Do you want me to read something from this? Huh. Number 3. Be still. That's the word. Maybe that means something to someone. Maybe it's for me. Be still. Very interesting. It does talk about it says the White Brotherhood, but I, like with my dear friend Sue, I changed that to Brotherhood and Sisterhood. I never will forever, will never understand the separation in brotherhoods and sisters. I get it. Sorry, I get it. There is value in men coming together, value in women coming together, but there is value in both coming together. So just the idea of just a brotherhood alone is very alien to me. You know, the whole idea of the Arthuriad, the Lady of Sovereignty, the Lady of the Lake, these were very prominent women. Without the women, the men wouldn't have been who they were, and without the men, the women wouldn't have been who they were. It's a part and parcel. It's a love of both. You know, it's the coming together as men and women, as we're supposed to. That's the reason why we've separated ourselves into men and women. You know, so interesting. But yeah, so there's a lot going on. But don't forget, guys. Now, I don't know how I'd be able to set this up for you, but I'll just come across here really quick. Don't forget about this. Now this, so people said about, you know, gathering David's teachings, gathering all this stuff. This is powerful. Yeah, oopsie, camera's off. This is very powerful. You know, all 30 of these seasons, like I said, I'm up to 17. They're massive. If anyone here is tech savvy, it's definitely worth doing this. Taking the time, learn the torrents, and download them. That's what I've done. So I've got 17 seasons so far. All the way from the first season all the way to the 30th. So how they recovered them is just crazy to me. You know, I thought it was gone from Gaia. Like, what happened? How did they get them? Yeah, I agree. But I am still questioning a lot into... Yeah, of course. You know, it's like... You know, I think there is definitely that element that, you know, maybe there's another side to it. Who knows? You know. But, Zoichka, sorry, I only just noticed you said you come over. Well, that's lovely. I mean, I hope... Was it good on Jude's live? How was it? I hope he's doing all right. I did see the video he shared about David. I think they were driving. Or Suzanne, did you share that with me? Or did I think you shared it with me, actually. I apologise. I think Suzanne, Soul Coach Suzanne shared that with me. So, yeah. But interesting, guys. Well, like I say, so we've almost done with the 7 pages. They will be... ready by next week, so probably what we will do is next week's live will be a slight intermediary, and we will go into it properly. The 7 pages is a full document that we're going to go through, you know, with all the source links. Tammy, here's the link. Now, I haven't had any problems. So that's the link. I haven't had any problems personally, but you know, we can only do what we're doing. Judo's doing well. He's still getting into the swing of these live streams. Both wonderful. That's great. Pleased to hear that, Zoichka. And thank you for coming to join us as well. That's very kind of you. The internet is forever. I'm glad for it in this case. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, I suppose there is. I don't know. It's interesting. Oh, lovely. Divine Healing. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Have you been here before? I'm not sure if I've seen your name. I apologise if you have been here. But if you haven't, we're on our last little bits of our live now. We're going to be finishing at 3 hours and 33 minutes, obviously as that tribute to David. So thank you for tuning in and being here. It's very, very kind of you. So yes, I have a call tomorrow. I have a call tomorrow because I'm doing a talk at this event. I'm doing a Great Global Garden talk at an event. That's going to be very exciting. They had quite a few interesting people there before, so I'm curious to see what comes from that. So that's tomorrow. Meeting Michael on Tuesday to go through the pages. Meeting Robert on Thursday, which could be a very interesting contact to help kickstart everything that we're doing. So that's going to be really interesting. And of course, in the meantime, I know that there's a gentleman. I know I've been in touch with Neil. If you're still here, Neil's been fantastic. He's sent over some very interesting stuff that I still have to go through. Probably not Anika, because it's a private sort of event thing. It's called the Camp Out. It's over in West Wales. I've never been before, but I got invited, and he was very gracious in the end to waive the whole fee, because it's a smaller event, so they do that to look after people, to make it work. Sorry. So yeah, Gail says, it is so sad that David was taken advantage of by nefarious people. He was kind and loving man, sadly. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, one thing that I do have is a really, or that I'm certainly working on a very high level, is a very strong level of discernment. It's something that I practice frequently. I really do seek to practice discernment frequently. It's one of the most important things, you know. Yeah, I will do, absolutely. It's a shame I can't. Oh, Andromeda, bless you. James, you're an awesome speaker just like David. You don't use filler words and are very articulate and eloquent. It will be fantastic, I'm sure. That's very kind of you. I think sometimes I've got a couple of filler words. When I'm a little bit when my energy's a little bit low, I kind of bring them in a bit, but I try to flow without it because it's so much more satisfying to hear when you can flow without those words. But that's a very kind, humbling comment. I appreciate that. I've done a lot of talking over the years. So I started doing Facebook Lives when I was about 17, 18, very rough around the edges when I was doing those lives. And from then, I continued doing them. I did about 180 in a row. So I did 180 Facebook Lives in a row. They're on my YouTube somewhere, buried really far down. And it just went from there. So I ended up talking at an event. I put on an event that nobody turned up to. I paid for the venue. I put flyers out. I put it on social. Not a soul turned up, apart from actually, obviously, my mother and father, a beautiful woman called Karina, and no, there were actually. Sorry, I meant beyond this really lovely inner circle that I had. And I did that event, and nobody came to it. But when we went to have food afterwards, I got invited to speak in London. So I've spoken in London 3 times. I've spoken in Norwich once, in Nottingham twice, and in Bath. So I've spoken on stage in Bath, and so this will be... And we did an event at the NEC in Birmingham where Guy and Earth, this was our old... These T-shirts are hemp and cotton, so I have like 9... 3 of them are Lucas's, but they somehow always end up in my room. But we had Guy and Earth, and that's evolved into the Great Global Garden. So that was our original one. I'm working on the logo for the new one soon, so yeah. Deborah, Brother James, and all my friends in this lovely, please have a wonderful week. Absolutely. I hope you have a lovely week too. See you soon. We're about to finish in 4 minutes, guys. So we've got 4 minutes left to say our goodbyes. So, like I say, let me know. Did you enjoy the live? Have you enjoyed this tonight? If you have, please do hit the like button. That would be wonderful. Next week, we will probably go into the 7 pages. I think that's the most powerful thing. That's the document that's going to really be put out there. So we can go through it. We can talk about it. I can show you what we've put together. I'll still work on it up until Sunday. So it's exciting times. But yeah, so Soul Coach Suzanne, appreciate you very much. Suichika, Asana, very lovely. So like I say, guys, 3 minutes left. So we'll say our goodbyes now. I hope you all have an absolutely gorgeous week. I'll read the comments as we're going, and I appreciate you all dearly. We send you love, James, for the talk and support for everything you're doing. I appreciate that dearly. You know, at some point, when the time is right, I know that the door will open. You know, if it's a political... James, I hope my super chat joke wasn't misinterpreted. I was encouraging you to keep... Of course, what do you mean? Sorry, Lydia. Have I missed something? Sorry, my dear. I took it as the most wonderful, deep, most deep gesture and comment ever. What do you think was not okay? No, Lydia, have no worries. It was absolutely wonderful. Very generous of you. Lovely comment. I appreciate it deeply. I took it as a lovely thing. So no, absolutely. Tammy says no mosquitoes in the global gardens. Well, look, there's dragonflies for that. There's bats for that. So you know they will help us out. Oh, bless you all. Neil, very kind of you, my friend. Lenny, love, love, love to you all. Absolutely. Soul Coach Suzanne with the love. From the Glade, thank you as always, James. Another incredible stream. Looking forward to all the great news from you. I appreciate you very much, my friend. And we'll stay in touch. You know, again, guys, we are all a part of this. This venture, the Great Global Garden, it is yours. The words that come forward, you can take them into your heart and soul, embody them, walk with them, do it. We find a way. Whatever we do, we find a way. This mission is not just about James, Lucas, Annie, Michael, whatever. It is all of us. We are all in this together. Okay, we stand together. So, Victoria, thank you for your great information. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for being here to all of you. Soul Coach Suzanne, Anne, Tammy, absolutely. Mummy Malins for being here as always and supporting me as always. I appreciate you very much. Leilu, James, you sound very busy. Be well. Seem to be on a weird delay here. That's okay. Lucas is back for the end. Love you, brother. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. We're going to call it a day in a few seconds. Good timing, absolutely. Leilu, very sweet words. I will take a rest. I'll have a good nap tomorrow. I'll train in the gym. But look, we're here for it. You guys are energizing me. You're keeping me going. We've got a beautiful community here. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Lucas is working hard. Annie's working hard. Michael's working very hard as well. We're making it happen. You know, it's for our children, our future, for you, me, for all of us. You know, the people will join the team. We're doing it. So love you all so much. David, thank you again, brother. Sands Motel. Lenny, Lydia. If I miss any names, I apologise to the bottom of my heart. Know that I love you very dearly. Anika, Gail, Andromeda, as I said, Zoichka. Appreciate you all very, very much. We're gonna say goodbye now, and I will see you next week on Sunday. Love to you all, my friends. Keep it going. See you in the next one.